Hey, good evening. It is Thursday, November 13th. It's episode 60, a milestone for the Whiners. I'm Ryan, and that is Jeff and Morgan. Hi, guys. And our guest, Rob Lucero, who's going to maybe parse the art of war, the Democratic primary in the 34th Congressional District of California, where he is running for Congress. That's Los Angeles, for all you Los Angelinos, I think. And we're going to play God with the weather later with our other guest, Sean Hibbler. Hi, guys. I am drinking a delicious red wine here. Jeff, what are you drinking?
Well, first of all, congratulations to us on our 60th episode. It is indeed a milestone.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Rob. Don't feel obligated to send us gifts, but if you insist, you can send me a case of this stuff because I'm enjoying it. It's an Argentinian Malbec. And even though it's a screw top, and I don't like that because I can't put the rubber stopper back in with my wine pump, I am enjoying this wine. Alrighty then.
Not bad, not bad. Well, we are going to be talking about all kinds of ins and outs of politics and government actions and who knows what else. So I got a nice Bordeaux by the very evil Barons de Rothschild. For all of you people who know that the World Economic Forum and the New World Order control everything, this is the wine of choice, and it's only $20, and it's pretty tasty.
All right, to the New World Order.
Odor, I think. So, Rob, I have to, of course, you've been here on the show once before, and I'm glad you're here again. We wanted to get you on to get an update. As you heard, the
did we ask Rob what he's drinking?
Oh yeah, that's right. What are you drinking?
It's only been 60 episodes. Ryan hasn't learned the format just yet. Maybe by the 70th episode. What are you drinking, Rob?
We have a local wine store here in Eagle Rock. I forget the name right now, pardon me, but I'm trying to shop local as I run for office, and I got another French wine. You probably can't see it. My camera's not.
Oh wait,
it's like a ghost wine, right? It's a Pinot Noir, 2023. I cannot pronounce it. It's like a Reuilly. I don't know, Reully, which in French probably sounds like ugh. So,
yeah, I don't know what that means. You know,
we have some ugh with cheese. So
fromage.
It is good though. It's a good red.
Wild guess. You're using a virtual background.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
How did I ever?
But it does say what I'm obsessed with right now, which is running for Congress here in the heart of LA.
Oh.
Look, it's wild. I'm going to a forum next Tuesday here at USC with a bunch of current top Democrats, former top Democrats. Donna Brazil's going to be there. Dick Gephardt, for those who were following politics since before poor Morgan was born. Dick Gephardt is like, he makes Nancy Pelosi look young. But
whoa, that's pretty.
task. That certainly is a task.
Yeah, but and also the hosts of Pod Save America and Hacks on Tap. They're all going to be at this event talking about what's with the Democratic Party. Well, funny enough, I think they billed it as a victory lap before what just happened with the shutdown, not a shutdown, cow bowing down, whatever it was, right? I mean, talk about political disarray. So it couldn't be a more beautiful mess, is the way I look at it. As somebody who's an independent Democrat, who, I don't have to backpedal and make excuses for the Democratic Party machine or come up with some other formulation for the DSA. One of the things I'll say is that it's very funny to me that the Democrats are running around celebrating the victory in New York City when they seem to be forgetting that Zoran Mamdani was not a Democratic Party candidate. He was a DSA candidate who took the nomination for the Democratic Party.
That's the
Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah.
Right.
AOC was in that category too, and she's been completely absorbed by the Democratic Party now. So
right, but they're very good at doing that, right? Like, and if you think about it, only the minority leader Hakeem Jeffries ended up endorsing Mamdani at a very late hour. They've all stayed away. Right. It's just a crazy game.
Didn't Schumer also endorse at the 11th hour?
I don't think he did. I think I think he stopped short of that.
Oh, he
but
never endorsed. Oh, okay. I'll
I don't
check
think
on
so.
my on my.
I think he said he called him, like, but it wasn't. I don't think there was ever this official endorsement.
Yeah.
He was too busy hanging out down by the river and cussing. He's not the only one that's cussing. Lately the Democrats have started cussing a lot as if they had some meeting. Yeah,
Right.
It's so non-authentic. What's the inauthentic?
Sure.
Is the word,
Inauthentic. Yeah. It's totally performative and forced. The incumbent in my district is doing that too. They've told him, got to go out there and drop a few F-bombs, and that'll win you over to I don't know who.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
now let me just say that I invited you onto the show because I actually was eavesdropping on a conversation that you were having with a group of campaign people and fundraisers, one of which happens to be my wife. And you said that there were some Democrats, because we know that 7 Democrats voted with the Republicans to end the shutdown. And you said that you're going to do some work to work, try to reach out to some of these that are kind of breaking ranks, maybe. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you were saying there? I don't remember the details. Yeah.
Well, the main one is Senator Fetterman of Pennsylvania. There should at least be a conversation because this is a man who is seen as very, he doesn't follow the party line. He obviously doesn't follow the dress code. But more than that, he's somebody who says, "Look, it's country over party," and that doesn't sit well with any Democratic leadership right now. So I was particularly talking about him and his office. The incumbent in my district, Jimmy Gomez, was actually on CNN last week during the shutdown, attacking Fetterman, a member of his own party, and actually saying that Fetterman, I believe the words were, this is close enough, that Fetterman was betraying his own working class Pennsylvanians. Now, I'm from LA, like the incumbent is now from LA or in LA, but I've lived and organized in Pennsylvania. And you better know what you're talking about when you start talking about somebody betraying their own people in Pennsylvania. And the fact is, he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's a reason the Democrats have lost Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, in the last, 2 of the last major presidential elections or major general elections. And they're not speaking to the working people of the country, let alone places like Pennsylvania. So I believe there is a vast middle ground that the majority of politicians are missing. And Trump got it, obviously, in terms of winning the election last year. But the Democratic Party is so way off in addressing that middle that they have no real strategy right now. So I mentioned, Ryan, talking to Fetterman and people like that who may be not going along with the party line and might be interested in more independent Democratic direction.
Well, so you're well, by the way, I wanted to ask you, has AIPAC reached out to you to give you money?
They may not. No, they have not. They have not. Okay. Yeah, if you don't know, the incumbent in my district he was endorsed by AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, in 2024, and he was also the House member that received the most money from AIPAC and AIPAC-related monies in the 2024 election of any House member in California, which is crazy. It was like twice as much as Nancy Pelosi. And the main reason was they want to stop the Democratic Socialists who have had a serious campaign for taking the House seat away from him. So I'm running against the DNC and the DSA. That should be fun.
So this celebration was to have been about how they did in the election results. And I think what you're saying is because of the, let's say, yielding or folding on the shutdown, then it's not such a celebration. But I thought all the smart money was on them choosing to. I thought almost all the smart people were predicting that they would fold right after the election. No?
Possibly. Go ahead, Morgan.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was like, that's still not like the thing that the base wanted.
Yeah, they
But
said
I
they wanted them
thought
to
Rob
use
was
this.
saying it sort of like changed their intent. The intent of the event changed because of that. I thought it's what you were saying.
Well, no, I was saying it's kind of funny to me. They're kind of stuck having this event where I'm sure they wanted to have it anyway. So, for example, the two guys that run Pod Save America just came out of a national conference they organized in D.C. this past week. That was supposed to be like a rogue, Democrat meeting of trying to figure out what the young people want, blah blah blah, and then celebrating the Mamdani victory. But a lot of Democrats say the Democrats folded, led by Schumer, as Jon Stewart was saying. But the funny thing is, or the crazy thing is, the insurance companies are the ones that won. No matter any way you slice it, nobody's taking on the issue here, which is the insurance companies that benefit from the gap payment on ACA or benefit from a purely privatized system that the Republicans seem to want. So that's to me the bigger issue.
So along those lines, I'm just wondering now, what is it that you're discussing with your in your district? So one is like what you're saying right now, but also now Trump is talking about I think a 50-year home mortgage. Right. So maybe there's, but then he's also, I don't know if you're talking about, the effect of Trump's pardons, or it seems the Democrats have waited till now to release some Epstein. Is any of this coming up in your campaign activities?
I'm really just anchored to what I'm calling the real New Deal for Los Angeles. People feel it here, that the city's still falling apart. The city council's dominated now by a Democratic Socialist direction. The mayor is a mess after the fires and the incompetence on that. So I'm talking about a national service program that is modeled on what happened during the New Deal with the Civilian Conservation Corps and the WPA. But I'm adding a GI Bill type component where if people sign up for 2, 3, 4 years in a national service program where they learn skills and they start cleaning up the streets and helping us get homeless people off the streets, with more personnel as far as healthcare and so forth, skilled labor, getting unions involved. At the end of that 2, 3, 4 year service, they get benefits like help for college with college money or debt reduction if they've already gone to college, help putting money down on a home or starting a business. And we'll also have more community banking, local banks that actually help that process.
What about the land grab in Pacific Palisades? Is that a campaign issue? I'm talking about the property that was destroyed during the fires.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an issue, is that there's a war on single family homes in California. That's really what you're talking about. And you're right, there is a land grab going on. And there's many people who think that the fires were either deliberate or allowed to spread the way they were to take this real estate. And then under the free market, excuse, there's foreign monies buying that up. Some people say oil money. I haven't looked at it yet, but Arab money and such, people that are coming in. And this is where government has to step in and say that we're not going to allow this.
Yeah, I think I read The Nation. They came out with an article, I think the 11th, a few days ago, called The Eviction Kings. And it goes into this company that's tied to Israeli ties, where they're the actual company that will go into the West Bank and they'll legally capture homes, but they're doing this predatory practice in southern states of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida, where they're buying up the properties, raising up the prices, and kicking out, these long tenants out of their homes and basically making them homeless. So it's happening everywhere. Even in New York, it's happening. I think what they call it, the deed theft is really big in New York. And it's a big predatory practice that happens to a lot of elderly, sometimes primarily elderly women that are widowed, can't make the property tax, and they kind of get exploited in that sense. So that is an issue that's happening everywhere. Is these homes are gobbled up by companies.
This is the problem of turning everything into a commodity, right? Education becomes a commodity, so you want to privatize education. Housing becomes a commodity, so you allow this, quote unquote, free market. There has to be protections and regulations. That's the job of Congress. Part of the frustration that leads to Trump winning twice, almost 3 times, is that people hate Congress and they go back and forth. Well, now we need Biden, or now we need Trump, and now we're going to swing we're going to go with Gavin Newsom next because he's a great hero. Congress is not doing their job.
I noticed
So-
you guys chuckled at the 50-year mortgage when that was mentioned. Is it because it's just not much of a solution, or do you think it's something that's sinister, or is it downright nefarious? Or I'm just trying to interpret the chuckle, because I've heard this is not my area of expertise. To me, I think maybe at worst it's not a great solution, but it doesn't seem like it's a bad thing. Can you guys clarify that?
I don't think it's a good solution at all. I think that doesn't at all address the issue of why my generation is not buying up houses the way that they used to be, because you have basically them being gobbled up by investment firms and big corporations.
Right. So it's a Band-Aid solution, but it's not bad because, I mean, if it gets you into a house, you could always pay off the mortgage sooner, but that's
most people won't. So
I understand.
Is this just because Jeff's going to live to be 115?
he's looking for a home now for a 50-year mortgage.
I'm already way over the average age. I think the average age used to be like 28 for owning a home, and now it's around 40. So I'm already about 25 years late on that. So I guess I don't think I want to own a home, actually, but I would like people who do want a home to be able to own it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, supposedly that was part of the American dream, is to own a home. But the thing is that it's expensive. It's prohibitive. So this will make it look like the price is lower, in the short term for people to be like, oh, I can afford $110 a month lower payment for a house. But the problem is, it's another way of also building up a new real estate bubble, I think, because it's all these cash streams, which are supposed to be liabilities, I think, from 2008, right? That's a liability, but they bundle them up and then they sell them as assets.
Yeah, even with a 30-year mortgage, you're paying twice the amount of the home. Even with a 2.5% interest rate, you end up paying $400,000 if you just pay that minimum mortgage payment over 30 years. So now you're going to be paying 4 times for a home that's $250,000. Now that $250,000 home is only available in places like the Midwest, the Mountain West, maybe parts of Pennsylvania. Definitely not in Los Angeles. You can't get a shack for $250,000.
Well, look how Somerville John is spinning it. He's saying it enables you to just pass it on to your younger ones.
So is debt slavery, right? It's like, hey, we own you and your kids and your grandkids.
Yeah. Debtors' prisons might be next. Careful what you wish for. But yeah, I waited to see what Morgan had to say because literally this is about the younger generation. I don't think Trump himself is interested in a 50-year mortgage for Barron Trump, right?
Oh yeah,
probably not. Hey, since you were on the show with us the last time around, did you notice a bump in the polls from the Weiners endorsement?
Yes, we had to actually turn some endorsements back because we got so much of a bump. We hit our head on the ceiling and we had to come down. I felt like Mamdani, who had to give money back. Did you guys hear he had to tell people to stop giving him money? He was raising so much money.
No, I just heard somebody on the news say that he's asking for money for his transition team now. He's still asking for money.
He's transitioning while transitioning?
I was going to say.
This guy takes on everything.
Wow.
Well, transition is a dicey word, that's for sure.
Well, Nick Fuentes says he is actually a Zionist.
Mamdani is a Zionist?
Mamdani is actually a Zionist.
Well, it depends who's giving him money, right?
I don't know. That's what Nick. Nick Fuentes was on Tucker Carlson, and that's what he said there. So
are my former neighbors in Los Angeles all giddy over Mamdani? They trying to?
No. Well, that's the thing is that there's not as much of a honeymoon over here about it because we have 4 members of the Democratic Socialists governing, misgoverning, not governing very well on our city council now. So, yeah, that illusion has been dispelled here.
I see.
Now, you mentioned Fetterman. Are there Republicans that would be open to some of the things that you're talking about?
Oh, for sure.
I don't want to dwell on it, but I just want to sure everybody realizes he's in the hospital. He collapsed. Had another health issue. I'm not mocking him by any means, but it's news.
Sure.
It's news with him.
That's too bad.
Yeah, no. I have a family member who is from his district actually try to confront him primarily on his stance with Israel and AIPAC. It seems like there really is a disconnect with how he portrayed himself when he was getting elected to be this progressive Democrat to what he's actually kind of has been able to accomplish and the stance that he's taken while in office. So I would say there is kind of this disdain for Fetterman. I don't know if that it's going to be.
Well, what you just said, though, that isn't that like with everybody? People say, well, you campaigned to be this outsider and now you're in office and now you're behaving like an insider.
I don't really think that he campaigned as an outsider. He campaigned to be better than, what was it, Dr. Oz that he was running against?
Yeah.
And he was kind of like this, I'm the Democrat, I stand for these democratic values that in the Democratic Party has kind of taken on, kind of more of like the culture issues. But then he's really just taken this stance on Israel. Like whenever Netanyahu came to give his address Congress, he actually wore the suit and tie. It's like one of the only times that he's like dressed appropriately.
Whoa.
And that speaks volumes. Like who you really serving? Or his constituents have continually gone to his office to voice their disdain for his position on Israel. And you've seen the videos. I think I don't think Josephine Gilbo, she's not from there, but he started waving the Israeli flag in her face, or just being really distasteful to his own constituents. So, I mean, I think that is kind of where he's really gone awry instead of, being more of a Republican. And he said something about.
Oh, no. I was just asking, though. I was asking Rob if there were Republicans that he himself might work with that would be open to what he's saying.
Well, there is something after this election, if you don't mind me saying, in California that's very specific, which is we just had Prop 50 pass, which was the redistricting operation. Right. And sure enough, just before that election, Newsom was forced to admit, or admitted sheepishly, or probably more proud, that he's running for president. That's what this is. But Republicans in California are pretty freaked out that they're losing the little bit of power they had. They're losing 5 seats. Orange County, which Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, these places are now going to be in a strongly Democratic district. I'm actually going to meet the incumbent that's going to run that race in about half an hour. He's an old friend who we'll see how he reacts to me now because I'm running against one of his friends. But the Republicans, without saying more than I want to say right now, I have some very interesting support from high-level Republicans who are freaked out about losing any voice. And so I want liberals and Democrats and even progressives to know that, look, I can talk to some of these Republicans. They know I'm not MAGA, but I'm also not crazy on the left. And
you're not Nancy Pelosi.
I'm not Nancy Pelosi, Christine Pelosi. I'm not transitioning Pelosi. So
will you be hanging out by the Los Angeles River swearing?
Oh my gosh. Yes. That seems to be what people want me to do. Right.
Yes.
Dropping the F-bombs now and then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if people want to find out more about your campaign, they can go to luceroforcongress.com and they can follow you on X.
Yes. Well, thank you all very much for having me on again. It's been great. It's wonderful to get a little tipsy with you all.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
I drink water, so.
All right.
But it's always a pleasure seeing you.
All right. Same. Thanks a lot, guys.
Rob.
Take care, Jeff, Ryan, Morgan. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Rob Lucero, ladies and gentlemen, one of the candidates the Whiners have endorsed. In addition to that, Jose Vega. There was our Canadian friend too. I think there was another U.S. candidate or two. Who am I forgetting?
Yeah,
we're so passionate about them, we can't remember who it is.
Aaron Baker. I think we had Aaron Baker on.
That's right.
Florida.
All right.
And somebody else just messaged me in the last day that they have a friend that's running that we should have on our show as well, running for Congress.
Excellent.
So we will have to reach out to that campaign too.
Yes. Our friends in Iran love it when we talk to local politicians in the U.S. So much in there.
It's right on the front of their mind, right? They want to know what's happening locally in the United States.
Yeah, I think Hassan is boycotting us tonight, as a matter of fact.
Oh my gosh.
So while we're waiting for our next guest, Sean Hibbler, what we might as well just tell you, folks, Sean is a filmmaker. Oh, here he is right now.
Add him to the stage.
Sean, right on
Hi.
time, punctual, professional, and perky. The 3 Ps. Look at that set behind him.
Whew.
Holy moly! Are you coming to us from your studio in Mars?
No,
yeah, NASA actually made me in the studio. It's real.
It's
real.
not a virtual
Nice with my
background.
setup.
Not green screens. It's real.
You're under oath. You're under oath. Raise your right hand.
Let me run away. Like what was it? Neil Armstrong. One of those guys ran. Yeah. What's going on, guys?
How are you doing?
Well, we were just talking to a congressional candidate in Los Angeles, and one of the topics came up is also one of the topics in your movie, which is the land grab in Los Angeles following the fires in Pacific Palisades. But before we get into that, let's just tell folks that you're a filmmaker based in Los Angeles, I believe. Is that correct?
I'm all over the place, man.
You're all over the place. Okay. You are.
I'm originally from Chicago.
We weren't
Okay.
going to dox you. It just we just figured
Yeah.
maybe if you were in Los Angeles, that we'd let you meet our other friends there.
I'm out there. All
Your
the time,
latest-
either way.
All right. Your latest film is Climate Trails, which is about the so-called chemtrail theory, but I don't want to minimize it, but that's just to kind of get people on board quickly as to what it's about. And I guess you would say fortuitously, if not serendipitously, Tucker Carlson's most recent episode was about the chemtrail theory. I would think that's good for your film because it calls more attention to it, and
Did you
people can see
coordinate
it.
that with him?
No, I've never talked to him in my life.
People can see it on Amazon Prime and Vimeo.
Yes, yeah.
And we have all watched it, and we look forward to chatting with you. Well, we don't look forward because we're here now. It's not. We're not looking forward. We're looking in the present.
we're in the present.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, and hello to your wonderful audience as well.
they are wonderful, beloved too.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, I know
right.
you have some clips, Jeff. Do you want to play some?
Yeah, well, why don't we just start with the trailer, and then we have some other clips too. I hope you won't report me for a copyright infringement, but I think for the
No,
purpose
I
of
won't.
discussing the film, that would be good. Here it is. Let's watch the trailer.
I can control what I put into my mouth. I can control what I feed to my child. I can control how I grow my food and if I want to spray pesticides or not, but I cannot control the experiments over my head.
Within an hour, it spreads out, it creates a blanket.
We're in a war. This is a war against me, you, our children, our grandchildren, and generations to come. This is war raged upon us.
These programs consist of spraying tons of patented aerosol pollutants into our skies without public consent. This includes aluminum, barium, strontium, and more.
It's targeting your food, your water, and it's coming in multiple different ways.
If people want to know if this is a real thing, states have bills to ban it.
I think there are now 32 states that have taken an attempt at this. This has become a huge issue.
If your average citizen knew the truth of what's going on and what they're being exposed to without their consent, they would be outraged and they would take action.
I don't want some creep ramming chemicals down my throat without my permission.
We need to prosecute those people that are doing it.
Do we stand in one spot and say enough is enough, and if they don't listen, we take it to the next step?
You've been doing this for a while?
Yep.
Long time. People do care.
Yeah.
We care deep.
I know that.
So we're now getting really involved, and now we're going to bring something legal against your company.
There's a threat. Very well edited. Before we get into the actual argument that's being made, I just want to say, just from a filmmaking perspective, very well edited. It held my attention the whole time. Loved certain moments, in particular when the woman went to the airport to confront the pilots. We have a clip of that we'll show later. Sure. So congratulations on getting it on Amazon Prime. It's a controversial issue. Is there any problem getting it on Amazon Prime? They don't seem like the sort of company that would want to promote this issue.
Here's the thing, and for years I've made films, and in my head it's one of those things where when I'm done with the film, I'm like, well, this is never going to get. Prime would never accept this. Just too much truth, too much stuff. So I never attempted, right? So it's one of those things where when we started doing this geoengineering project and all these states were trying to ban it, Tennessee already banned it, Florida just banned it, and they added felonies if you get caught spraying. So I go, you know what? This isn't a conspiracy though. I mean, like, how are they supposed to stop this from coming out on their platform? Because I'll be honest with you, I had a backup plan, you know, and it's not that I was trying to be negative, but me and the executive producers, like we're trying to stay positive, but it's like, this ain't gonna get on freaking Amazon. Like, no way, right? So it's like, but if it does, you know, geez, right? And the whole time I'm like, just manifest it, it just gets on there. How's it? And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, if they don't accept this, I'm gonna go after them, because they can't look at this as some sort of nutty conspiracy QAnon crap or something. They just can't do that. There's over 30 states, half the country, more than half the country is trying to ban this from their skies. Are you banning a conspiracy or something? That doesn't make any sense to me. There'd be no law in place in Tennessee or Florida if it was just some grand conspiracy. So I had kind of more hope going into it. Like, this could get on here. Who knows? And then you have to pay a lot of money. That's the unfortunate thing. You have to go through a film aggregator that's licensed. And these are all the things that I learned along the way, Jeff, where I go, oh, yeah, no, there's a process to getting it on Amazon. It's not just, here's my movie.
Right,
no,
of course.
It's not only that, though, real quick. It's also certain lenses. You have to, they only approve certain camera lenses and certain cameras.
What?
You know,
Yeah.
Know that.
Yeah, because they don't want things to look one way in one film and have a different look.
Oh, you mean like it all has to be in like 4K or 8K?
It's not even that. It's the literal lens you attach. Like, there's only, and Netflix has a list as well. So
yeah, they want a certain look to everything they have there.
You know what I think though, Jeff? Of course, that's true. But I think that that's such a niche thing to find out in the process.
Oh yeah. It could be trouble after you've shot it, right?
It's over, right? So normal independent filmmakers, especially let's pick more on documentarians. You know, movies are movies. This is, you know, a documentary. So you have your crew, you're walking around, you're filming, you're all this stuff, right? You're picking up as much audio as you can and trying to get interviews. And you get back and it's like, oh yeah, no, this, you know, you submit it to Prime and it gets denied. And you're like, oh, that sucks. And people just move on. They don't even really understand, like, why didn't this get on? I think if you follow their guidelines, if you follow the rule book, now you got a case where, I pass quality control.
Right. So all you aspiring filmmakers out there, learn from this. I actually knew this. I'm not really a filmmaker, but our old friend Wiley actually told me this a while ago when we were looking into making a film. She said, oh, you've got to shoot it a certain way to get it on Netflix.
Ah, that's when she said that. Okay.
Yeah.
We were
you were talking about these different states banning something, so we can't get into the weeds on every single law. But broadly speaking, you're talking about banning weather modification. Is that it?
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me piggyback onto that question, because you were saying geoengineering. We were debating before the show weather modification versus geoengineering. I think they're different, right? These are all different kind of things depending on, well, like for example, the American Meteorological Society says that weather modification is an effort to alter the natural phenomena of the atmosphere. But I think geoengineering is like a large scale thing that's supposedly around intervening in the whole earth or something like that. Can you say something about these things?
Yeah, I mean, it's weather modification is more of a modern terminology. Geoengineering too, technically, but these are excuses. These are names that they come up with, definitions, like SAI. What is that one? Solar aerosol injections, right? So that's really what, like, if you listen to the ex-CIA head of the CIA, John Brennan, he goes up in a meeting when he was the head of the country with this, and he this is what I mean. They show you these graphics and they're like, look, we're gonna block the harmful UV rays from the sun so no one gets skin cancer. Just let us do it. Here's the thing, they've been doing this for a long time, guys. They've been enhancing it the past 10 years, specifically the last 5 years. but they've been doing this for a long time. They never had a name for it at first because everybody just said what they say 10 years ago to everybody, right? You guys don't remember, do you? Those are just contrails. You're insane. Those are contrails from an airplane. We see those all the time because they gradually increase. Now they're everywhere. Now there's X's in everyone's sky. And it's just,
but if it's going to be banned, then there's a need to describe what is to be banned. That's what I'm asking. If you could just
that's the problem with the ban. Can I swear on this platform?
Oh yeah.
Well, frequently. Consider Chuck Schumer as your role model. Apparently, you didn't see our opening tonight. Chuck Schumer was using the F word, acting very edgy.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's just bullshit. That's what it is.
That's going too far. We don't go for that.
Yeah.
You're like goodbye. No, I mean it's man, it's hard to explain, but it's one of these things now where they have these types of if you want to call it a conspiracy, right? That once people start talking about it, like say 10 years ago, people are talking about chemtrails. The mainstream, the media, everything is just, oh my God, you guys are lunatics. So they quickly make fun of it. And then they start denying it. And then when more people wake up, they have to accept it. Everybody knows.
But what's the it? I mean, you point to it like it's a good thing, like it corroborates your argument. I thought, no.
I'm saying it in a sense that
if it was so wonderful, they wouldn't be banning it. You're saying, well, what are they banning?
The ban is bullshit, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's the ban itself is up to 4,000 feet.
The ban. Wait, I got confused.
So I guess you're kind of saying that the ban is appeasing the people that have probably been outraged by this, but the actual literature that's the bill has doesn't have any substance.
Here's the thing. It's an ass backwards law that they've created, that they've put out there. I think it's half of it is for consent because now people know like, oh, they just banned this, even though it's not really banned. They're still spraying in Florida. They're still spraying in Tennessee because that's federal airspace. The state of Tennessee cannot have any aircrafts flying under 4,000 feet. So that from the ground to 4,000 feet is Tennessee. The same way border to border on the ground is Tennessee. Everything above 4,000 feet is now federal airspace. Well, yeah, they're spraying 50,000 feet up, so they're not going to stop. And it's not that I covered the ban in the film for no reason. It is raising awareness. I mean, people that thought this was ludicrous, they're just contrails. You guys are insane retards. Your conspiracy nut jobs are now kind of backtracking. People, at least in my life, my personal life, where they're like, yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into contrails versus chemtrails, let's take a look at a clip. We were talking about weather modification. Here's one of the two very hot women you have in the film. You're like the Hugh Hefner of environmental films.
Continue tracking flights, and with this amazing group of people, I learned about the NOAA Library, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And they have a weather modification library where you can find all of the non-federal weather modification projects. So these are the smaller operations, the snowpack enhancement, the precipitation enhancement. Come to find out, there was a over 30-year-old project happening right over my head. And it was being paid for by 2 irrigation districts to the southwest of us. The Modesto and the Turlock Irrigation District, also known as TID. They call it Turlock Irrigation District. And I then learned the company that they were paying was called Weather Modification International, or LLC, or Inc. They use all three.
Weather Modification Incorporated, which is a company that services most of the planet. They actually hold most of the contracts in the NOAA Library. The NOAA Library has every disclosed contract in the country, and there are thousands active contracts.
I realized that all of my documenting, all of the times I thought there was something going on in the sky, there it was confirmed.
The vast majority of weather modification, I believe, is conducted by military. But we have thousands of contracts with private companies like Weather Modification Incorporated. Anyway, if you go to their website, they offer loan programs for planes and they have job opportunities. And my favorite job opportunity is when they're requesting pilots. One of the qualifications is that they have the capability to be extremely discreet. They must have the ability to maintain secrecy and be discreet. That's in the open listing.
I just want to say I didn't mean to diminish their intelligence with my silly joke about
No.
attractive. They are very articulate and very passionate and sincere, and they come across well in the film. But that last thing she said, I think she's making too big a deal out of it. The fact that they're saying they want the pilots to be discreet doesn't really prove much, because if you consider like the whole spectrum of nefariousness, right? If it's just mildly nefarious to something that's the worst thing ever, anywhere on the spectrum, they might want the pilot to be discreet, right?
Yeah. So if you're a pilot looking and you're out of business, you can't get a job with American Airlines, no one's hiring, and you go to a company called Weather Modification Incorporated, and then you have to sign an NDA. That's not nefarious, Jeff? What do you? I don't understand. They're not going to a company called Private Planes Incorporated, Weather Modification Incorporated. And be discreet, Jeff. I don't get where you're coming from with that.
Well, I'm saying it doesn't prove like how sinister it is or exactly what's going on, because if it was just mildly sinister, they still might want them to be discreet. That's all I'm saying.
No,
but let's get into what it does prove or not prove. I think right off the bat, we all have to admit there's a lot of weather modification going on
all over the country. And it's,
actually,
we're noticing it now, but it's been going on for a long time, like I said.
Yeah, I think even all over the globe. I think there was a UN. This was years ago when the Afghanistan occupation was going on, but you had Afghani farmers who were raising alarms that there was no. It was like almost a manufactured drought that was happening, and they alluded it to weather modification. And the UN actually brought that up. So I thought it happens more than just, in the United States. So.
Oh no. And yeah, I'm just, picking on our country for now. We live here, but no, it is a worldwide thing. You're right.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. I think that they had it it backlashed on them.
True. But Americans, let's just be real. Most Americans, especially the way they're brainwashed nowadays, they don't give a shit about any other country but theirs. So that's why I try to focus on ours, because we have power. We're one of the most powerful nations, if not the most powerful. And the sooner people get on board with this and stop chucking everything up as a conspiracy, because that's lazy as shit. Okay. It gets old after a while. Oh, conspiracy. Okay. Turn your CNN on and just, eat your way to a heart.
Because I always get angry when people use the word conspiracy, because they either you don't know that it came from people trying to silence questions about JFK, or the literal definition of a conspiracy. Conspiracy could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. Is there are conspiracies that are good.
Yeah, it has a negative connotation.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean it's not true. Let's look at another clip that is very similar to, it's more specific about the weather modification. This is about specifically cloud seeding.
What I found was if I go onto a search engine on the internet and put in the search term cloud seeding companies, it returns pages and pages of small companies with aircraft that disperse various cloud seeding chemicals. And their websites, if you look at them, they're actually, boasting about this, like that they do it better than other companies and such. And that's when I knew, for sure that this is a factual phenomenon. Now, if we go back to that particular report from NIOSH about MK Ballistics, what they're doing is manufacturing these cloud flares, which are essentially like pyrotechnic devices like fireworks. And in the report, it outlined the specific ingredients that they use, and silver iodide was one. And they also divulged using strontium nitrate, which is a very important fact to note. It does have some toxicity, so it's very close to calcium on the periodic table, so it tends to interchange with calcium in the bone and get stored in the bone.
So cloud seeding refers to making it rain?
Yeah, that's a universal terminology for it in a sense. Again, even with the word cloud seeding, I think that's another invented word to kind of damper what they're actually spraying up there. They kind of want, they know how dumb people can be and gullible. And that's kind of what we kind of cover in this film too, is like, you know, once they find out that people are aware of what's going on in the sky, they just come up with a new lie and say, well, that's this new lie over here. That's what that is. And then they'll accept it and go, oh yeah, okay. Oh, God, that makes sense. So little Billy and his stupid conspiracies were false. But when these terms come out, like cloud seeding, they want to normalize the word cloud seeding. Like, oh, we're just trying to help it rain. You know, it's a little bit, it's a little droughty in this area. So we're going to kind of expedite the rain. And I don't know if you guys remember a video from, it's got to be at least 15 years old now, but there was a guy that went to like some sort of NASA facility, some center, and they created clouds in front of them. It's all on camera. And they made it rain. And that I don't know about. Around, and he goes, NASA's playing God. Oh my God. I mean, they literally had this big machine outside, giant facility. I don't know where it was, but, and you see this stuff just coming out of the building and it goes into the sky and it sits there and it's a cloud. And then within like an hour, it just starts pouring rain. And it's like, that was a long time ago. Is my point.
Well, you know, it's difficult for the average person to really, you know, understand and take a meaningful position, because on one hand, you know, what decent person wouldn't want a drought to be alleviated? On the other hand, there could be a very heavy downside to it. So the average person, it's not easy. And I heard you say on another podcast, one of your goals is to persuade the average person, because you realize there's a lot of people out there who are saying, oh, these damn conspiracy therapists, they don't believe it. And you want to persuade them. So can we challenge you about what we think is a weakness in your argument?
Sure.
With all due respect. Whenever you say with all due respect, that entitles you to insult the person in any way.
Nah, you can't defend me, man. I've heard it all. Go ahead.
All right. Well, there's two things can be true, but not necessarily connected. One can be true that they're doing a lot of weather modification. But the other thing that can be true is those long contrails that persist, that come out of the backs of planes on some days,
that go away. Yeah, they follow.
Yeah, could be normal contrails, as the government insists. And
contrails are real.
Well, I thought that, but the way you don't really say it outright in the film.
Yeah, we do it in the film. Yeah, there's actually a devoted section that actually says that multiple times.
That says what?
The contrails are a real thing.
Contrails
are real. It's water vapor. It's condensation trails coming from a jet. We've all
but what I was starting to say is you don't actually say in the film that was what I was starting to say. You don't actually say that they're chemtrails. But while people are talking about all this weather modification stuff, you keep showing shots of the contrails, which makes it look like that's what you're arguing. So you're not arguing.
No, maybe you're confused. There's one section in the film that covers contrails. The normal condensation trails that are real when American Airlines is flying. When you're outside and you see American Airlines coming by, and and depending on the temperature, it's not every day, but you'll see a trail that it's leaving behind it about this long. As the plane leaves your sight, that contrail follows it and disappears.
Well, it dissipates if it's dry.
Yes, you still got blue sky, right? It goes away. It's blue sky. We've seen that our whole lives. We always will see that. We saw that when airplanes were invented. It's normal depending on the condition. What we cover in the film, 90% of it is not contrails. When you're seeing this B-roll of the trails, they're not going away, Jeff. They stay in the sky for 8.
I know. I'm not.
That's chemtrail. That's not.
I know. Sean. I'm not confused at all. I know. That's exactly what I was talking about. And what I'm telling you is, and I want Morgan and Ryan to weigh in too. What I'm telling you is, I didn't see you connect the dots in the film to make any convincing argument that that what we see coming out of the planes when they are persistent contrails, whatever word you want to use, that's when they're spraying chemicals.
Yeah. So right after the contrail bit, which lasted about a minute, I had a couple people explain what contrails are and how it's normal and And Josh, the executive producer in this, the author Josh, the one with the tattoos, he quickly changed it up. So you missed that part, but Josh said right after the contrails were explained, Josh said a chemtrail is when it's a beautiful day outside and I go out to feed my chickens and I come back and I see 4 big lines in the sky that spread out and cover the sky like a blanket. That's a chemtrail. So
I know you keep saying that like I don't get that. I do get that. What I'm saying is I didn't see where you showed evidence that they are in fact chemtrails. You're just saying they are.
No, we documented it. We film it. We're showing you them spraying our skies. We're showing the lines in the sky. Maybe I'm confused with your question, but when we cover contrails, we show what contrails look like. When we're talking about chemtrails, we're showing people the chemtrails spraying out of jets. So maybe I'm confused.
No, I don't think. I think it's. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Sean. That you're differentiating based on, in one sense, the amount of time that it's in the air. My question is from that standpoint because I was looking at the change in air traffic, for example, air travel. From the 1940s to the present, if you take a really long period, and it's just through the ceiling, right? I got a little graph here. I mean, it's just off the charts in terms of global air traffic. So, and I think they say that right now it's roughly 115,000 flights per day worldwide. So the question is, if a lot of chemtrails are going on, my question is, well, couldn't somebody then say, hey, let's test surfaces, buildings, and I think in the video she was talking about how she saw it overhead, right? And that was what triggered her to go into the company, right? I mean, I would imagine that somebody's going and testing even just the surface, not soil penetration, right? I get there's sometimes bad things in the water and so forth, these heavy metals, but just testing the surface of things, and you'd find all this stuff everywhere. And I don't know that has been done to link what you're suggesting, these long-standing things, to what we see.
To what you see? So you
don't. What we see, in other words, the heavy metals, right? I mean, remember how they were talking about, the different.
You mean the rain samples in the film they show? Are you talking about the rain samples? Soil samples? We actually showed documents of, the normal amount of aluminum that's supposed to be in the soil. The legal limit is 0.05 milligrams per liter or whatever that is, right? There's an actual legal limit. And this guy was out there, rest in peace. He actually passed away from cancer recently. But the older gentleman in this, Francis Mangels, he spent 30 years testing Mount Shasta's water and doing tests on the soil. He was getting tests of 34,000 times the amount of the legal limit, 34,000 times the amount. And it's only when those things are in the sky, man. Here's the thing. If you can see an airplane that is traveling in the sky, spraying a contrail, and then the contrail disappears, that's normal. That's what contrails are. That's what all airplanes are supposed to create. But when it just happens,
right? Let me get into
it. Finish. When they have the other types of jets that are literally dousing us with heavy aluminum and heavy metals and strontium and barium, and that doesn't go away, guys. It's night and day from looking at a plane spraying a contrail and it back to blue sky to these fuckers that are spraying X's in the sky, and within 3 hours, your entire blue sky's gone. Now it's cloudy when it wasn't supposed to be. So I guess maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys got to spend more time outside and look up. I don't know.
I think your question, ahead, Ryan, that I honestly, I would like to know too. So yes, there people are collecting the rain samples and testing that, but I guess I would like to know, is there other kinds of tests that are happening? Or they're like swabs? Because you're saying that these heavy metals are falling down. Yeah. So swabbing on surfaces. Is there any kind of testing?
We've done magnet tests as well on the grass and on the ground. We did not get to do that in this film, but I've seen tons of videos already made of people for a couple years now, at least, that have like these really powerful magnets and they film them and they do a time lapse, and it all just you'll see the magnet actually fill up over time. So, but for me though, if the soil, if there's a soil limit and a water limit on aluminum particles, right? If there's a normal limit, meaning from, you know, something that kind of came in the wind, or a truck that drove by and it came into your sample, there's limits where it's like, yeah, 0.05 is about average, just in case. When you're getting 34,000, 64,000 milligrams, where's it coming from?
Sean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that there isn't something there. I think what I'm saying is that I don't see the connection, that there is proof that it comes from what comes out of the back of airplanes. Because
that's what I'm saying too.
And let me say I'm open.
That lasts for 8 hours. What is that to you? That's what.
Well, let's start with what the. Let me show you what the.
You guys answer that question real quick though.
Yeah. No, here's the answer. I mean, let's show you what the EPA is claiming, and just give a minute before we laugh at it. But let's start with the argument, and then we can refute it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to read the whole thing. I just highlighted what they're saying. It's basically happens at a certain altitude. They're saying it's based on the temperature and the amount of humidity in the air. And when those conditions exist, that's what makes the contrails persist. Now, I think, all right.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's a contrail. I've already explained that. Those are real.
No, but you're saying when you just said several times that when they're lingering.
Can you read to me on this definition where it says it'll last 8 hours?
It actually says many contrails are short-lived in form.
Well, they're all, it should say all, but yeah, most last about 10 seconds, Jeff, maybe 30.
Well, there was in September, there was a congressional hearing. I don't know if you saw this, Sean, led by Marjorie Taylor Greene, playing God with the weather, a disastrous forecast. Did you happen to see that? I've only seen.
I did not, but go ahead. You know.
Well, no. So I mean,
and everything.
All of this is discussed there in the hearings, which I thought was very good. And for example, one thing that they discussed there was Operation Popeye, which was a clear case during the Vietnam War, where it's the only case that I'm aware of where the military used weather for a military means to basically cloak, I think, our troops. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if exactly.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Something like that. But it was heavily condemned by the United Nations because it was this kind of playing with God. Now, other than that,
let me know when I can get back to this, by the way. Okay.
Well, I'm bringing up the point is that in those hearings, there were scientists who said that sometimes these contrails can last days, in fact, depending on the weather conditions. They gave testimony and showed
what year was that?
This September.
Oh, recently. Yeah.
This was September.
They're always going to make up a new lie to sell you guys on. It's fine.
Yeah. All right, let me just get through this. Again, I think that their argument is weak too. I'm a juror in essence. I'm analogous to a juror. We're all jurors, okay? When there's a trial, like for medical malpractice or something, there's experts on both sides. The jurors aren't experts at all. They're just listening. They're open to persuasion. So I'm trying to say what's not convincing about your evidence, but I also want to tell you, I don't think the government is doing a good job because all this is very vague, okay? And it does say that it can last for a long time when the humidity is very high, but they aren't specific. So I sent an email to the EPA and I asked if they could have somebody come on to talk with us about this. I thought it might be interesting. I don't know if you've ever tried to communicate with them.
Yeah, no, they don't want to talk.
No, they don't. So they replied, no, nobody's available.
They want you to believe their definitions, man. That's why they created them.
So I pushed. I want you to know I pushed them as much as I'm pushing you. So then I went back. I go, all right, can I email you questions? And I said, yes, send us your questions. So these are the questions I sent them. I said, you're saying it's like humidity, altitude. Why don't you get specific on it, measure it, and show us the evidence? And then the people on your side of the argument could refute it by documenting, well, we're seeing these long contrails, chemtrails, whatever you want, when these conditions don't exist. It's a way to actually assess evidence. So they come back and they said, and they just gave me this statement go look at this website that you in the film say is a good resource, the NOAA website. So I go to the NOAA website and I actually finally find a little specificity there. It says that it happens when the planes are from 25,000 to 35,000 feet.
Yep.
When the temperature is below minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and they don't get specific on the humidity, but those are the factors that they say cause these long, persistent contrails.
Yeah, and they evaporate quickly.
But they say it doesn't. So have people on your side of the argument documented on such and such a day, we know that the temperature was this, we know the humidity was that, we know the plane was that
Jeff,
level, and yet we still see it.
I'll cut you off there. I can send you video footage that I couldn't use. It's copyrighted. I try to use only my own stuff. But there's tons of videos I can send you of people just with their iPhone even recording the sky. And what you'll see in the sky, Jeff, is a normal airplane producing a contrail, and right above it, maybe, on the side, obviously they're not flying on top of one another. Right on the side of it, there's a jet spraying chemtrails. Why wouldn't both jets be producing the same trail? Why is he producing one that goes across the entire state? And why is the American airline plane that's at the same height producing a natural contrail? And there's tons of these videos where you see both one spraying, one not spraying at the same time. We also have videos of jets that stop spraying in the middle of spraying and then turn it back on.
It could be at different altitudes. And I
get it, Ryan, but let me repeat the last one.
But let's say they're not. Let's say they're not.
And turn it back on. How are you turning on and off condensation?
Right. All right. Let's say it is the way you described it. I agree. That's logical. Or that's a logical way to make the argument. But that wasn't in your film because people wouldn't let you use it.
You can't just, if I put something in this film that's not mine, they could sue me. And they could instantly get it off of Amazon that day once they see their stuff that I didn't get permission from.
No, I'm not saying that you should use it without their permission.
I asked permission. I either don't get the reply, maybe it goes to their spam, or I've also with news. The news has shown stuff before, and the news wants $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to use 30-second clips. So fuck that. I'm not doing that. So they don't want because here's the thing. When I reached out to newscasts and news organizations, local news, mainstream news, where they're showing something, I'm like, oh my God, I need this. Jesus, let me use this. I'll email them their contact, info at whatever. And usually within a couple days, they reply to me and they want to know what it's going to be used for, what kind of film this is. And I have to be, I can't lie legally. I'm like, look, we're talking about geoengineering, and we're just trying to explain, okay, well, $30,000. I'm like, but it's 18 seconds long for like 30,000. I'm like, all right.
All right. So then you're not. You're not to be faulted. Fine, but
I'm not going to cover it in the film if I can't show people what we're talking about.
Fine. So you're not to be faulted, but I'm just telling you, nonetheless, the jurors, meaning the public, we're the jurors, will listen to both arguments. We're not seeing the proof. We're not seeing it. You just told me the reason we're not seeing it, but you're not. You're trying to get us to buy it just because. What do you mean not looking? You showed us pictures of what you say.
You're not looking for the proof. That there's thousands of videos on social media of people. I don't know what you believe more, a government entity that's showing you an article or a human being, one of our neighbors in their backyard with their iPhone filming. So I believe
for me, it's mixed. It's mixed. I will say, let me just say, I'm divided. Sean, I am a divided person. So just also people in our audience can see, they're like concerned, they're saying things like, Russia blew up the pipeline. Oswald worked alone and was the only murderer. That is not where I am coming from on this. Because you can go and watch videos of Bill Gates very openly talking about controlling things to lower the temperature 1.5 degrees, 2 degrees to deal with the big scary global warming.
Yeah. Bill Gates also admitted if we increase the vaccines in people's arms, we could lower the population.
He actually just said that recently. So he's actually done a switch where he first was talking about lowering the temperature with all of these other things, and then he changed it to what you're saying, where he's like, oh yeah, well maybe we got to. And by the way, just so that you know, I just got back from a Bobby Kennedy event. I understand what he's coming at on looking at vaccine safety. I understand that there are conspiracies that are absolutely for real. For me, one question that I come up with on this particular thing, though, is it's much easier to do this through the control of the water supply, which is absolutely already controlled by the government.
Yeah.
So I also don't think that it maybe necessarily raises to the level of this is the way things are done. It's a lot cheaper to, put fluoride, for example, in the water. Which there is a campaign to undo those kinds of things.
That just keeps us docile, though. This actually forces us to start getting dementia early. Did you guys know that? Hold on. Did you guys know that dementia and Alzheimer's are
heavy metals? Yes.
40-year-olds are getting it. Why are 40-year-olds getting that?
Yeah, my question is there any through your investigation, is that happening in other nations as well, or is it?
I'll be honest with you. I've only focused on America for this.
So, that would be interesting to look at because that kind of because I think there is legitimacy in this aluminum aspect, how that really affects cognitive abilities.
Well, and people are waking up, Morgan, because think about it. Why would there be fluoride-free toothpaste? Why would there be aluminum-free deodorant? That makes no sense if it doesn't do anything.
Is it dangerous to use aluminum foil in cooking?
In cooking? I wouldn't.
In freezing, actually. It's bad if you do it in freezing. And I use aluminum-free deodorant, too, because it ruins all my T-shirts.
I get it, but
do you know what? I'm sorry. Do you know what the aluminum in the deodorant to begin with is actually doing to you?
Go ahead.
No, I knew,
but I don't remember.
It's an actual shield. So it's an aluminum shield telling your armpits, do not release these toxins out of this human being's body. Keep it inside. That's not good, guys. That's not good to not release toxins. That's exactly the same thing with suntan lotion. It's the same shit.
Right. Sean, I need friends. I don't want to see the stinky one at the party.
Hey, charcoal deodorant is the way. You won't smell.
I have tried it all.
One of the comments for that we just flashed on is somebody in the audience is saying you're insane. And I don't want to
go get your booster.
Right. And I don't want to embrace that sort of rhetoric, but I do want to push back on you. But I do want pardon?
I was playing. I said, you just did.
No, I didn't. I just said he said it, but I want to bring it up in this context because you are blaming me for not looking hard enough. That's what you said a few minutes ago.
No, I mean, if you want to see videos of it, I was just being specific. No. There's tons of videos of airplanes and contrail planes.
But here's the point.
Up there at the same time.
A lot of people, you admitted to yourself, everybody knows that you get a lot of people who don't believe it. Tucker Carlson is getting a mountain of criticism. Okay. So the point is maybe
no one's telling him he's wrong.
Maybe
maybe
it's because the quality of the argument is not as great as it might be. And to just say to somebody who really is open to it, oh, it's my fault, I'm not looking hard enough.
No, maybe you misconstrued why I said that and what I was talking about. That's all. I was only talking about that you're like, why didn't you put in your videos? And I'm like, well, I can't. It's copyrighted. If you want to see videos on airplanes at the same altitude that one's spraying and one's not, there's thousands of them. You just got to find them. You're not trying hard enough because they're everywhere. So I don't know how I can find them within 5 minutes for days, but then you can't find them. I don't know. You just have to look harder.
Well, it's not my issue. It's not my issue. I look.
It's all of our issue, man. We're breathing in aluminum, brother. I mean,
no, I know that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. It's not the crusade that I'm on. So I looked. Let me finish. I looked, I think, reasonably hard, and I'm saying I don't see it. And I'm also criticizing the government for not doing it. So I'm a juror who's like going, neither side is convincing me.
Well, Ryan, why don't you pull up your boy on your hat from about 10 months ago on Twitter that tweeted a photo of chemtrails and said, we are going to stop this crime. Yawn. because
that
he
doesn't
hasn't
prove
done a
anything
damn
either,
thing to
but
stop it.
you know,
he hasn't done a damn thing to stop it. None of them have.
All right, let's show another
he-
clip. Let's show another clip. I think this was one of my favorite parts in the film. This is when the woman who went to the airport. What's her name?
The lady that went to the airport, she goes by Mellow Cat, but I'm pretty sure that Mellow Cat.
That's my confirmation name.
That's your confirmation.
What a coincidence.
Well, meeting people know her by Mellow Cat.
No, I'm kidding. All right, so her name's Mellow Cat, and
that's
she's
right. That's
just
her
an ordinary
Her real
person,
name's
right?
I'm sorry, her real name's Catherine. Sorry, I'm just saying Mellow Cat because that's
no. That's her Substack is on Mellow Cat, and she actually has the tinfoil hat. That's right. I remember now.
No, that's Ariana Masters.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
She's Ariana's the piano player, right?
She used to be a musician. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she's sitting at the piano when she's talking. All right, I just want to say who it is we're talking. This one
Yeah.
is just an ordinary person. She's an activist who's very passionate. So she's got fed up with all the spraying that was going on in her neck of the woods, and she found a website where she gets information about flights, who owns the plane, all this specific information, and she went to the airport near where she lives to confront pilots who are doing
At 1 a.m.
spraying.
Can I add to that before you hit play?
Yeah.
So we explained this in the film too. There's an app called Flight Radar 24 that you can download.
Yeah.
And
I've used it.
Yeah. So if it's a 2-part thing. One, if you see the jet spraying and it doesn't disappear, it's not a contrail. Open that app. You can see the route of that jet. Now we can all, I'm gonna make this quick, but I want to explain this. We can all agree that if there's a flight that's going from Miami to Chicago and you're right in the middle of that and you see the plane and you pull up the app and you see that, oh, it's a straight line from Miami to Chicago. It lands in Chicago. You get all the information on the pilot, the plane, where it's going, where it took off from. All the information's there, the plate number, everything. Okay. So you get all this information and you're like, that makes sense on a map. You see a straight line from here to here. But then when you click on these bastards that are spraying chemicals out of their asshole, guess what? You open that up and their route is literally doing a figure 8 for 6 hours. I just want to know, where do you guys think they're going? What do you think they're doing? So what she did is, because she was getting pissed off about that, she kept seeing that on the app. What the hell is going on? Then she looked them up and saw that the owner was Weather Modification Incorporated. She started digging. Then she finally found out on the FAA website where this exact jet that always sprays over her house, where he lands. It was about an hour away from her. And then she drove. I'm sure you're going to play that. Then she drove.
So the clip has been sufficiently set up, I think. Let's watch it.
Yep.
So I didn't know what was going to happen because it was now roughly 1 o'clock in the morning. Everything's dark, everything's locked up. So I start walking along the windows and the businesses, and I'm just looking for, is there anyone here? Is there any light on anywhere? And I happened to see one of the line guys. The door was locked, and of course I said, "Hi!" And the guy looked at me and he came and pushed the door open and I said, "I'm here for," and I named the tail number, the registration number of the aircraft. I said, "I'm here for the crew of da-da-da-da-da." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Can I use your bathroom?" And he said, "Yeah." So I went on in and used the bathroom, texted my friend. I said, "I made it inside." And I filmed a little bit of the plane from the inside this dark building. So I was in the darkened waiting room. The pilots were probably confused. It's now, 1:30 in the morning or so. And my friend came over to the door as they were locked. He finally got over and started filming from the outside. And they went and got the crew. I didn't have a script. I didn't know what I was going to say. There were 2 men. They came in. They sounded like they were Canadian. Thank you.
Good. What can I do?
Good to see you. I'm here. You're Tim, right?
No,
Oh, no.
no. I don't know a Tim.
Jody?
No, don't know. Well, I know a Jody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jody Fisher?
No, yeah, I know Jody Fisher.
You do? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then who are you?
I'm one of the other captains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I said, "Well, are you Jody?" Because Jody Fisher is I believe it's the flight director now of Weather Modification International. I've tried multiple times to reach Jody Fisher. We've been trying to reach Jody and you for a long time.
Okay.
And we are tired of you dumping heavy metals all over our county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the one to talk to about that.
No, but you are, but you're the one that's doing it. So I've been taking rain samples. I have over 20 samples. And every time you fly, we get high amounts of aluminum, barium, strontium, titanium, magnesium. So I want to know, are you aware of what you're doing? I know you think it's like to increase water supply for Turlock and Modesto, but it's not really happening.
Yeah, you can talk to them.
I've tried.
about that,
I've called them and they're not calling me back. So we're now getting really involved and now we're going to bring something legal against your company.
Okay, well, you can talk to them about that for
I know,
sure.
but
So
I want you to know though, like we are real people underneath what you're doing. You spray right over our houses. We hear you. We know you. We see you. We're watching your planes and your patterns, okay?
The patterns is what you were talking about, Sean.
Yeah, look, man, and like once you see these things, you can't unsee it. And I'm sorry how passionate I can get. That's my MO.
It's fine. It's fine. The passion's good.
It's disturbing stuff, man. That's all.
See, here's the thing. Part of that, though, I went to that same website, Weather Modification. I looked at all their aircraft. Their aircraft are not. Maybe they hit 27,000, maybe 30,000 feet. So that's different than those jets. But okay, that aside.
Yeah, like Ariana said in the preview you showed, she and I agree with her that, you know, some of these are the military doing it, especially NASA. They're involved in this a lot. So they're the ones a little higher up, kind of even over where we can technically see them. But these are the smaller ones that they will spray at 25, 35,000 feet.
Right. Well, so first of all, just on something on what you're saying about military things, I did look up some laws. The Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972 requires that any weather modification activities have to be publicly reported. And also, if you look, there was a 1975 report. Basically, since the mid-1970s, federal funding of weather modification has basically gone non-existent. So it's local governments and states that are doing it, and most of the aircraft that are doing this are relatively, right? Not that 27,000 feet is not high altitude, but it's relatively low. And then one of the aircraft that you guys showed here in the film, a C-130, actually you showed something almost exactly like this because I looked up the tail number, just like you said on Flight Radar 24, looked it up. And these are, what these guys do is they spray water because they're testing for spraying against things like mosquitoes and things like that. And there's a whole history going back probably 50 years of using
Ryan, let me ask you real quick.
military.
Do you know what direct energy weapons are?
Like an EMP?
No, a DEWs, direct energy weapons. They're these big, pretty much lasers that they can view and burn the hell out of
You
things.
have them on the back of vehicles for military use, and they use microwaves.
But my
for
point
example.
is, the conspiracy involved in those is like things like Maui, and that they can just torch stuff from the sky, and no one knows what's going on, right?
I mean, I know that there are
the definition of the direct energy weapon on a government website is not going to tell you that they're tearing down forest fire. They're torching forest fires behind your back, behind public knowledge. So a definition on a government website of what something is being used for, I don't believe that, and nor do I have to.
Okay, fair. And I understand that because we can go to things like 9/11, and we know that some of those pilots were agents of the CIA. I get that. I'm sort of saying that some conspiracies aren't equal, right? Let me just jump in and say something else. I also think that not all of the activity is necessarily bad. Let me take an example because I'm here in Texas. This is Rainmaker. Are you familiar with Rainmaker? They're sort of like weather modification. They do cloud seeding, but these guys use drones to do it. So here in the summer, you had terrible flooding, right? You're familiar. You remember that? And all these kids in the Guadalupe River watershed were drowned by the flash floods.
You mean, the one in Texas, the storm that didn't move? Yeah.
Just from down the street from me.
That sounds natural.
The owner of the company, Augustus Dorico, was on the Sean Ryan show. And basically he goes through how much seeding that they did. And I think that the maximum benefit that has been measured by cloud seeding, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because this guy is big into stopping things like drought, okay? Is like maybe a 5 to 15% chance of getting it to rain a little bit earlier or a little bit longer. Whereas the storm that caused that horrible situation was, I don't even know, what is it, trillion? It's like 4 quadrillion gallons of rainwater. So I have I don't know if you can see it there on that picture there on the left, that a huge amount of rainwater, which couldn't have been done by him. And he's the main cloud seeder in Texas. But it is known that this whole area is known as a flash flood alley. The one thing that is missing for sure over the history of flash floods is any infrastructure development by the government. So the government has basically said, well, there's no cost benefit to us to improve the infrastructure to prevent floods, but that the correlation between the flooding and his seeding was completely not existent. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is that everybody called him out and his company out for having caused the flooding, but there was no correlation. One more thing, Tucker. So I'm going to digress and talk a little bit about Tucker. Tucker was going on about this, saying, playing God. There's a little clip I just want to show of that and his response to that.
God and you're in charge of the weather and the planet? No, you're just some lumpy, furry schmuck living out an incredibly short lifespan with no ability to make anything better because you're not God.
All right, lumpy, maybe, furry for sure. But on your third point, I think it's kind of a bummer and I couldn't disagree more. I think that we can make the world a lot better. And I think that cloud seeding is one technology that we can use stewardly and prayerfully to bring water to people that don't have it right now. And I would rather do everything I can in this life, again, prayerfully and trying to serve God to make the world a better place. And cloud seeding is one way that we can do that.
So I want to ask your view on that, because this guy is a small business who was almost put out of business because of a miscorrelation on that flood. This guy's not Bill Gates. Like, I get it, Bill Gates, right? And what he wants to do to reduce the number of people on Earth and all this kind of stuff. What do you say to that?
I feel like he's a patsy in a sense.
But he owns the business. He's like,
yeah, that's fine. He's been all over the news, all over the biggest podcasts. I mean, to me, that's not an accident. That's not natural. That's him going out there to save face for what they're doing and what they've been doing to us.
And prayerful is an interesting word to use. His shtick is, meant to connote that, oh, this is for the good. And maybe it is, but is there a downside? We've got to weigh the upside versus the downside.
I don't know.
No matter how prayerful he is, doesn't get at the downside.
Sure, Jeff, that's true. And I haven't really looked into him that much. Unfortunately, we probably would have covered this, Ryan, but I was pretty much wrapped. My production was wrapped by the time that
I'm just saying that there's a difference in this. It's not everything is the same, is kind of where I'm going.
No, I agree. But at the same time, if you put your emotions down and turn your logic and crank the logic up, that was not a natural storm. I don't understand.
Well, there's another very good segment in your film. Let's show that clip about the weather disasters and how people take advantage of it. One question would be, like, was it concocted from the beginning to cause a disaster for the purpose of exploiting it financially? The other side of it is maybe, well, it was just opportunistic. But let's look at the clip. It's a good clip.
They don't mind at all bringing a storm in to be able to depopulate an area so that they can do something else there. And you and I, the citizen, bears that cost. I ask our governor, I ask our TDEC to look at that, because there's law on the books, Title 58-2-116A in the Tennessee Code, authorizes the governor and his agencies to investigate those natural disaster things. Unwilling to do it. Completely unwilling to do it.
When they throw that stuff out there, I don't understand why people today would think that they couldn't produce a hurricane.
This is military equipment. It is military equipment that's being used to manipulate weather. The NextRad towers can be used in multiple ways. One of the most simple things you can do with an X-Rad tower is produce heat, because it emits microwave radiation and it can heat layers of the atmosphere. And if you were to have these speckled radar systems all over the United States, what you could do is activate the towers on either side of where you don't want the storm to go. Make them emit so much microwave radiation that the atmosphere heats up. You can create a high pressure zone. And then if the storm exists and you keep pumping it with aerosols, and also you can zap it to kind of make it more powerful, pull more moisture out of the air. When you have these Nextrad towers producing heat in an area where there wouldn't have been that much heat.
So you're talking about causing storms and then making storms more powerful. I think that could be true, but it's a very complicated scheme that would have to be pulled off, because
it's frequency.
No, but I mean, the people who are doing that would also have to be in cahoots with the people who are going to take advantage of it and do whatever they want. You know, whatever way they're
people running our world.
Say again. Say it again.
People running the world.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Do you think that there wouldn't be those types of people running our world? That would be that nefarious?
I don't doubt that there's that level of evil. I'm just saying that it's a bit of a task to connect the dots. That's all.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to get to a point of like, maybe, do you believe that it's nefarious in the aspect of in its totality, or like this Rainmaker CEO thinks that he's doing a benefit to society, or is trying to make money, and that is kind of nefarious in its own way. Like,
well, making money is not nefarious.
If it is, if you're hurting a population, and
that's what I was going to say. If
it's against the law, yeah. If it's
not against the law, though, that's the problem.
Yeah, like I was going to say,
they have these laws completely in their favor, as you see with the 4,000 feet rule. If the geoengineering law was,
I did not know
all of the sky. If it was
4,000 feet rule was interesting. I didn't know that.
But I'm saying, like, pretend it was the entire sky from here to the top that you can't spray. You'd see nothing but blue skies the rest of our lives. That's a fact.
Morgan and I both live in North Carolina, and so we're acutely aware of what happened in Western North Carolina. Now, who knows exactly what caused it or not, but
yeah, no one came to help either. They're all worried about Israel and Ukraine. They don't care about our country.
That's true.
It was awful. And I think
that's a man-made disaster by virtue of the neglect.
We've had a lot of men-made caused disasters, men that meant the cause of disasters, men that have added to it, and men that have not shown up to help anyone.
Right.
And
we have Ryan
assets at hand. That's called being nefarious.
Yeah, I apologize for interrupting. We had Ryan Dawson on the show. I don't know if you know him.
I produce Eddie Bravo's podcast, and he's interviewed him a few times. So I haven't really talked to him, but I've produced the show. So I mean,
he has family in Cape Hatteras, and he was talking about how they've deliberately let the beachfront erode, and all those houses and buildings that were washed away. So that's another example of what's going on.
Look into land grabs, man. Land grabs been going on for a long time. I mean, there's a reason that BlackRock owns, I think, almost every corporation in the world now, that they're trying to play God. They're trying to, if they can eliminate this spot over here from a flood, this spot over here from a wildfire, and they start doing these little by little and normalizing it, and they come in and they buy the land and they buy the properties.
There's no doubt about that. That's no doubt about that.
But there's no doubt about that. Are multifaceted. It's not just to keep us sick and make us lose our memory as we get to our 60s. It's not just about poisoning the people. We all know they don't give a shit about poisoning us. They do it all the time in our food, our water, the vaccinations, everything. So for them to poison us through the air, that shouldn't be that much of a shock. But it's also expediting the weather manipulation that they have been doing for a long time.
I think it's more difficult to do weather control, let's just say, because again, I'm personally going to differentiate like what the rain company does, because it's negligible impact even on the best of its benefits, right? Because you have seeding to make snow and you have seeding to make rain, and it's done predominantly west of the Mississippi. It's not done in the east, for example, just because of things like drought conditions in the climate. So I would just say that it's still different, right? And now, let me ask you about this. A lot of these big companies are dumping their whole climate goals. Remember, everything was around climate. And I was looking at this BlackRock. You mentioned BlackRock. This was the beginning of this year. I do agree with you. BlackRock is nefarious and they're doing all sorts of horrible things. But what is this then with these companies if they are so much into this? I mean, it seems to me that it would be much easier to create these controls than this. This seems to be, in fact, if you really wanted to say, take mind control, you mentioned that, you're going to have so much in the air that it's like clouding the sky. If you think about like World War II, when they had those the balloons that looked like dirigibles, but they were small, so they were absorbing flak, to prevent aircraft from bombing cities. They would float just hundreds and hundreds of these over a city. You'd have this kind of thing all across the globe in terms of mind control or this kind of thing. I think,
but they are spraying all across
intensive.
the plane, man. They're spraying all across the plane. It's not like it's all over the place. So and in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, but blue skies aren't even the same. So even when it's a clear blue sky where I live, it doesn't look like it was when I was a kid. That dark royal.
That's what I was saying to Ryan always.
Jeff
Ryan and I
that too, yeah.
So, to your point, Ryan, it's been collective over a certain amount of time. It is having an effect on the atmosphere. It's
well, there's no doubt that we're screwing the atmosphere and again. I just don't think that this rises to the level, in my mind, of being causal. It seems to be too difficult.
Right. Look at the second question. I
just want to know why you think it's too difficult, right?
Because it hasn't been the evidence hasn't been defined for me sufficiently to make the case. Like,
what evidence would you need?
Well, for example, if you have areas that are side by side, that are, say, talking about atmosphere, that are humid and not humid, that still display the conditions, the results of that spraying, such as what I was saying with Morgan earlier, where you can just do a on-the-spot sampling and you say, oh, both of these places are covered. But in fact,
would you agree that if every single state in our country tomorrow has those in the sky, that can help you out there? Or do you think that
have those?
Well, you're saying that like different humidity conditions, different that we all agree that state by state, that all changes, right? So if these chemtrails are in every single state in our country tomorrow at the same time, does that not define your question there? That could.
Well, here's an example. Here's a given day. This is a given day, January 29th, 2004. And again, sorry for using NASA, but it is I think the picture is instructive. That what you have here is a case where you have a dry area where none of the contrails or whatever that create trails, no trails, let's just put it that way, exist above that yellow line. Why?
So there was no flights that day?
No, of course there were.
Okay.
Of course there were flights that day. In fact,
my joke in that is saying that the flights are always going to disappear. Those down there are what does not disappear. Doesn't matter where they spray them.
But what I'm saying is the atmosphere is different. It changes everywhere. I don't think that it's too difficult from a scientific standpoint.
Yeah, but you're looking at a snapshot. Fast forward 6 hours, that's moving, Ryan. It's not like it's stopping there like a magical layer. It's just
my point.
They sprayed there.
That's my point.
And those lines are moving towards it.
So you have the contrails or whatever, the trails that exist for 8 hours. They still move too.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have many contrails in a snapshot like that. They disappear within usually 10, 20 seconds.
All right, let me say something. I don't think, Sean, that you fully appreciate how hard we're trying and how we're pushing both sides. We might be failing in this way or that, but we're sincere and we're trying. And if you had seen the exchange I privately had with Ryan throughout the week, I was definitely pushing the other side with him. And look at question number 2 there. This is what I asked the EPA. Why is evidence of persistent contrails prior to the 1990s so scant? Ryan wouldn't concede that point. Now, I don't know. I'm not plugged into everybody out there, but I swear I've been trying. And all I've seen are these photos like this that look like they're, military or in some kind of encyclopedia.
B-17.
There doesn't seem to be any pictures that everyday people took that prove that they were widespread prior to the 1990s.
You could Google chemtrails and see normal people taking photos of their sky right now. So there's
exactly. But there don't seem to be any such pictures prior to the 1990s, which I think supports your side of the argument.
Oh, it does. But there's some. I even see some in movies, from older movies, and I'm like, oh shit, look, and it's very rare. But now you can't watch an episod of Stranger
That's my point.
Things
So it's
or Yellowstone.
Jeff, I did address it, Jeff. I said that the number of flights globally has increased to the point now where you have 115,000 flights a day. And what you have is a parallel increase.
Okay, it's
in
not that
CO2.
complicated. I get it. There's more flights. I get
there
it.
There it is.
Point taken. Point taken. You don't have to give me a speech. I get it.
Yep. There's a lot more flights, and
there's more
flights.
flights.
Of them are spraying chemicals. So yeah,
but still, and let's ask Morgan, and let's ask the audience. I personally don't remember seeing these so-called chemtrails prior to the 1990s. And even though there's a lot more now because there's a lot more flights, the question is, well, why? Tucker Carlson said he doesn't remember seeing them either. I don't see a lot of evidence that they are. Morgan, do you remember seeing them prior to the 1990s when you were 3 years old? Audience?
Well, I wasn't even born then. I was born in 1997. So
when you were a gleam in your daddy's eye. Okay.
Sorry, Morgan. That's all you've seen. And there's a rumor, by the way, this is a rumor, but there's a rumor going around recently that apparently it's public information. I haven't found much on it. I found a little bit, but Disney is going back to their old classic movies as we speak to put chemtrails in them.
Oh my gosh, I believe it. I'm
sorry, contrails, because they would.
I would believe that. Now let me say one thing here. This is apparently where chemtrails begin. This is the U.S. Air Force weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025, written in August 1996, which doesn't mention. Hey, you're covering up our friend there.
Just for a moment. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't mention chemtrails, and I'm just using the language that was described there. I looked up the report, but it does discuss the future of weather modification technologies for military purposes. And there are people that say, oh, well, this was, looking at this, that, and the other. But prior to 1996, nobody even talked about it. Now, to address what Jeff just said, and Sean, then you comment. In 1850, let's just say, nobody had a microwave. So nobody was looking for microwaves. So that's the only problem I have with your argument, Jeff, is that you say, well, I don't remember in 1850 a microwave. But nobody even knew about microwaves.
There was airplanes, though. There was airplanes flying in 1990.
Yeah, because it's an unusual thing in the sky. It doesn't matter that we weren't thinking about chemtrails per se. It's an unusual thing. It's noteworthy. People took pictures of sunsets back then. There's a lot of photos of that. Why wouldn't there be ordinary people taking pictures of the chemtrails, even though they were relatively rare? Why not?
Remember black helicopters? Remember the black helicopters?
No, I'm not sure.
People don't even talk about. Oh yeah, well, so there you had Ruby Ridge, you had the Waco massacre, right? And after that, and that was in the early 1990s, I want to say. People were very concerned for a long time about black helicopters flying overhead. That was an unusual thing because it was federal government people that shot up.
So what's your point?
People. So I'm just saying that was an unusual thing. Nobody's talking about that now. It's become very much normalized. And I'm saying that maybe it is what I was saying, that it's just the increase in air traffic, and that's why we see it more.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a big deal.
Pilots.
I have to butt in.
I don't
'Cause
know.
I have another call at 9 that I have to get on. But it was a
Right.
pleasure, Sean.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just. It's to me. It's just.
Congratulations on your
question.
film. I have to get going.
All right. Take care, Morgan.
All right.
Thank you.
I don't know.
I get where you're coming from with that, and that makes sense. You know,
Who are you
but
talking to, me or Ryan?
kind of both. I mean,
Oh.
like I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I
Ryan,
was
but
trying to show
me-
you that
No,
was
to
showing
me-
you.
Well,
a
let
little bit of
Sean
love.
answer.
To
Let
me,
me
that's
because this is like
that's the
Sean
back
and
and
Jeff
forth.
100 and Ryan 1. So I want to hear it.
Well, what's the question? Sorry.
No. You were just saying. I didn't want to talk over you.
No, I was just saying that, you know, for me, no offense. I mean, that's a bad comparison because there was, you know, in the 90s, there was airplanes, right? So no one's looking for them because they just, even if they did just start in the 90s. And here's the thing, we go over patents in this film. There was patents back in the 1800s for this type of stuff. Were they using them in the 1800s?
No doubt about.
No,
There's
probably
patents
not.
for everything. Yeah.
But there's patents for all of these nefarious devices that are not doing anything to help humanity. They're just, yeah, okay, you can look at them as just patents. They're just sitting there, whatever. But when you start, you know, the X marks the spot, man. When you start to drive on the road and you start paying more attention, well, don't look up too much when you're driving, but when you're outside at least, and you start to see a lot of X's that are just sitting above your house like this, you might look at them a little differently now because that's weird, man. Like they're all over the place. This is not, look, man, I've known about this for at least 10 years. And this is the first, I'd say the last 2 years have been the most, like, you can have the conversation now. Meaning if this was 10 years ago, you guys would be here to ridicule everything.
Oh, no. The conversation's good. And there is something to be learned from the conversation. So don't get me
It's
wrong.
going to take time for people to adjust. Like nobody wants to admit this. And I get why. No one wants to be like, dude, they're poisoning us daily on the daily. Our government and private organizations are trying to keep us with memory loss and dementia and Alzheimer's and all these things. For me, if you go back to look up the research of the history of Alzheimer's and dementia, that's also modernized. That's not something
all
that's been
brings
around
up
for a long
questions.
time ago.
It definitely all brings up questions.
Hey,
There's
one
no
of
doubt
our
about that.
regulars, I think, has watched it. Give us a call, John, and tell
No,
us.
I think he was talking about this other movie though.
Oh, okay, a different movie. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's random to this show, I guess, but all right.
No, because I brought up Black Helicopters.
Oh, that's a movie?
No, Black Helicopters are just the idea that you had a dark government helicopter flying overhead. And there was a period in the 1990s where that was the thing, right? That was the conspiracy.
I get you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
well,
again-
anyway, I want to just make sure that there's no confusion hanging in the air, Sean. We obviously disagreed at certain points, but we've been at this for a while now, and I hope it's clear to you that we are sincere. We may have blind spots. We're only human. Everybody does.
Sure.
But I want to just get back to just clarify what I was saying before, because it seemed like we just weren't quite understanding each other.
Okay.
And that is about the proof that the persistent contrails are chemtrails. And I get what you said about how, you can't get footage that you want to use. No argument there. But I want to make sure I didn't overlook anything else in your film, because I think what I heard, the only thing you said that's in your film in the way of proving that those persistent contrails are chemtrails is that you've shown it in the film.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the film that points to evidence that could rebut anybody who's arguing, oh, sure, there's weather modification, but there's also persistent contrails that aren't chemtrails? Is there anything in the film that is evidence to that?
Are you talking about like the rain samples, soil samples, all that? Is that not evidence of nefarious action falling down?
It's evidence of nefarious action, but it's not. It doesn't rebut the argument that, hey, that's going on, but it's different from the persistent contrails. In other words,
I don't know what you mean by persistent contrails. There's contrails and there's chemtrails. What are you asking me about? What are you trying to say?
I'm asking whether or not they're actually chemtrails. Okay.
Yeah, the contrails disappear.
Let's not quibble over.
Liz, man, you pulled up an article. EPA. They also admit that they're short-lived. So and on top of that, they should have lied to you. The government lies every day in articles, but they still didn't. That's the revelation of the method. They're telling you what they're doing. They're defining a contrail by what it is. It's condensation. It's water vapor. It's going to disappear 10, 20 seconds max, maybe 30 seconds. I'll grant you that. And maybe you'll get a little bit longer of a tail, but it actually, and we show this in the film, it's following the airplane. So that tail it's leaving, that whatever that is, it's following it like a tail. And then the entire sky goes back to normal within a minute. Chemtrails don't do that ever.
It's everything else is what you're saying.
All right, that's your position. That's your position.
It's not my position. It's science.
Okay, well,
I don't mean pseudoscience like NASA bullshit. I'm talking about science where the revelation is there, man. All of us can go outside.
But I don't know. Look, I'm not arguing. But
here's the thing, Jeff. I want to say this because they have made it so normalized for us to not trust our own senses. Everyone fights their own senses, and we need to stop doing that. We need to stop looking for, well, CNN better say something quick because this is, it's like they're never going to tell you in an article published by a government what they're actually doing to you, Jeff. They're never going to do that, man. And they're leaving it up to you to not believe them anymore.
Well, I'm not suggesting otherwise. I'm just asking.
I'm just saying we need to stop trusting these people, man. They've been lying to us about everything for.
Well, I've shown you how I've shown you how I doubt the government evidence and how I've been pushing them for a better explanation. So you don't have to.
Sure, no, I agree with that. I'm glad that you did that, but you're never going to get.
It all has to be questioned.
I'm trying to focus on your evidence, and talking about how weak they are doesn't really support your argument.
You're talking about that the opposing side of what we're talking about in this film are known liars. That doesn't help the argument.
All right, well, then fine. We won't even talk about them. We could just focus on what you're saying. You're showing.
I sat down with military whistleblowers who was in charge of approving these chemicals, and she used to think it was ludicrous, probably even more than you do, Jeff, until she found out that, in fact, this is exactly what's being done in the military. And she ran away from the military, never re-enlisted, been blowing the whistle ever since. So you got a military whistleblower. You have a USDA biologist whistleblower, over 30 years of documenting. You have a doctor talking about the health conditions. He studied this as well. The aluminum in our bodies, the strontium in our bodies. And on top of the people in the film speaking about this and giving their confessions and their safety's on the line for this, you can see it with your own eyes.
Well, talking about the health effects doesn't help us clarify what's going on. That's what I'm trying to focus on.
Yeah, it should, because why would Alzheimer's and dementia be in 30 and 40-year-olds right now? Why wasn't it like that?
It could be other causes. It can be other causes.
Yeah, I keep telling you, there might be two things going on. One being
everybody that gets one of these in their arm, also aluminum. So you're getting it every which way.
Have you seen this tweet before? I'm not positive, but I think I got it on your X feed. I'm not sure. Have you seen this?
Me? No. You definitely wouldn't be on my X feed, but what is it?
Why? I don't know, but definitely he put it. This is a
just because I've never heard of them. I don't tweet people I've never heard of. That's all.
Oh, okay. No, but people can comment on your X feed. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, you're telling me you've got these sources, but there's a lot of people who have worked in the aviation profession over the years. It's not like you have an overwhelming amount of so-called whistleblowers.
What do you mean by that?
I mean everything. I mean all aspects of the aviation profession. There's pilots, there's airline attendants,
we just read mechanics, that they NDA.
There's mechanics, there's air traffic controllers.
Jeff, why would they tell you? They sign not disclose. They sign an NDA.
Well, that's one company.
That's all.
I don't think that.
But everybody, a lot of people have to sign.
Yeah, but
NDAs.
You're smarter than that. Okay, even if you could give me the benefit of the doubt, Ryan, that shit's fucking going on in the sky. That shit's real. Do you think that Weather Modification Inc. would be the only ones that make them sign that? All of them would, Ryan. That's all I'm saying.
Who are you saying sign? I don't think that the average aviation professional has to sign an NDA.
I'm talking about the ones that are spraying us.
He's talking about weather modification people.
Yeah,
like
I'm asking about the people who theoretically would be observing all this. Why don't you have all these airline pilots and air traffic controllers and mechanics people who are in the sky.
I can send you. There's tons of city council meetings over the last 10 years of pilots in their gear saying this is not us doing this. I don't know who it is or why they're doing it, but it's not us. They're speaking about chemtrails. These are pilots on the stand. I can send you these videos again. I can't put copyright material in my film.
And you couldn't get permission for that footage either.
No, I tried to get a hold of that pilot. God knows if he's here anymore. But there has been tons and tons of pilots that have talked about this issue because they're in the same shoes as me. They're normal people. They're up there and they're going, who the fuck is above us doing that? They can see it with their own eyes because they turn them on.
And you couldn't find any of these people to talk to in your film, like just regular.
I've answered that. Yeah, no,
what do you mean? You said you couldn't get the You said you couldn't get the footage, but that's not the same thing as.
I've tried to.
I didn't even ask the question. Let me ask the question. Telling me that you can't get existing footage isn't the same thing as getting these people to shoot them for your film.
I just can't get a hold of anyone that I needed to show these things, whether it was sitting down in an interview with them or just using the footage itself for the film. You need permission. Now, if I didn't put it on Prime so the world can see this, I probably could have bent some corners with that technically.
I don't think you have to cut corners to do an interview with these people if they're willing to be interviewed. That's what I'm asking.
Again, I've tried to contact people. If they don't reply, they don't reply. I actually had a weatherman. He was a national weatherman,
True.
Alan Buckman. His name's Alan Buckman. He's a real weatherman that for many, many years, because he was on camera on a news station talking about chemtrails. All of a sudden, they fired him. I've been looking to get him. He actually texted me back the first day I reached out to him. I got a number from there was some like public information on the internet. It's not docs. It's just public articles. And I'm like, is this his phone number? And it was. I text him. I a big paragraph about making a documentary. And I said, please, would you sit down with me? I would love a weatherman in this. You've been covering this and you got canned for this. And he replied, yes. And he goes, when's a good day to do this, to sit down? I replied the next day because I went to sleep. I replied the next day. Here's my schedule. I've not heard from him ever since. And I called, my voicemails. I'm like, come on, man. I almost got him. I was right there. And you can't make someone do something, man.
No, that's true. But do you think that, see, I don't know exactly what it takes to make the determination. Okay. So maybe my question is being phrased in a naive way, but what I'm imagining is if this is really going on, the average pilot or maybe air traffic controller, mechanics and so forth, people in that capacity would know what's going on. Now, whether or not you can get them,
ask a pilot.
No, I'm asking you because I have you here now.
No, I'm saying next time you're on a flight, ask a pilot when you get off and they'll tell you.
I would. I've asked one pilot once and he laughed. But I'm asking you right now, do you think that the average pilot knows that this is going on just from observing it?
I would say
you think,
yes. I would say yes.
All right. Okay.
Now, the amount of them that would speak to us about it, limited. But you are going to find some that will. You will find some that will. There are some pilots.
But you didn't.
I didn't what?
You didn't get such a pilot. In your film.
The film? No, man. We pilots, man. That's the thing with them. They don't want to show. I actually had one pilot that was going to possibly do something, and then he said I have to like black him out and change his. That thing where you're in the shadow.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, no, I don't do that because when I see that in any documentary, I'm like, bullshit.
Suspicious.
That could be anybody. Fuck that. That could be anybody. I'm like, can you not? I'm like, I'll pay you. Can you? No, I'm not going to show my face. He'll get fired, man. I mean, right?
No. Well, yeah, but the retired pilots wouldn't have to worry about that. And look, I get that it would be risky for people to speak out. But if you look at all the outrages in life that are important, there's usually high-profile, credible people who come forward, even though many people are afraid. Whether it's Aaron Brockovich or whomever, or reporters who risk their lives,
FBI whistleblowers.
Yeah, and talking about war crimes and so forth. Sure, a lot of people are afraid, but there's always at least a few very credible, high-profile people. It doesn't seem like there are any such people that would back up your argument.
Yeah, I mean, someone that was in the military approving the chemicals beforehand. That's not. I mean,
yeah,
so
or
a military whistleblower means nothing to you.
Well, what are you referring to? What are you referring to, Sean?
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Kristen Megan in this film is a military. She's literally a military whistleblower, stamped. She's a whistleblower. She has status.
But remind me what you. No, okay, I don't.
Which one was she? I'm sorry. She was not the pianist.
She was the one that opened the film.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And I showed her from 2012, I think, when she started blowing the whistle. She is one of the biggest reasons anyone even knows this is going on, because she, like many of you, think it was bullshit. This is just stupid. This is silly. And eventually she tells her story in the film on exactly how she snapped out of that, man, because
remind us specifically what she revealed. That's key evidence.
Well, the fact that they were actually, she was looking for we're giving a lot of film spoilers, but she was looking for the evidence itself in the military. So she has this form. I don't know what it's called by heart, but it's something that she had to, there were certain times where she stopped when I was filming her because she's like, I don't know if I can say that, but I'm going to say as much as I can. And she was talking about some military form that's like, not the public's not supposed to know about these forms, is basically approving chemicals. And when she stopped approving, once she found out what the chemicals
right,
were,
she was dragging her feet, and that's when they came after her and they said, you know, what do you do? Why are you dragging your feet?
They basically were loosely threatening her that they were going to throw her in the loony bin, and who's going to take care of your daughter. And she was getting so, like, we had to stop filming a few times. She's super, I mean, obviously emotional, crying, and all right, cut, hold on, let's give her a break, because she was getting threats. And as soon as she was up for re-enlistment, she ran and blew the whistle and got the status for protection because she knew too much. She was in the facility that's supposedly, she was one of the people approving these chemicals to begin with, to get into the flares. And these chemicals turned out to be what the conspiracy theorists from 12 years ago, that she thought we were all crazy screaming about this, that something's wrong. Something looks different. Something looks weird. When she found out it was true, she ran and blew the whistle. Not only that, but Francis Mangels, the USDA biologist, 30 years certified, got beat up 3 times over this. Literally physically manhandled.
Well, people are crazy like that, and they get triggered and they'll do things like that.
Because they told them stop talking about the samples of the soil.
That's not a surprise to me. That I totally believe that would happen.
If that wasn't going on, who would care that he's talking about aluminum in the soil?
What about going on again? Well, the only thing we're questioning is whether or not these things might be separate. That there's these experiments going on, weather modification and so forth, but nonetheless, the persistent contrails coming out of the planes aren't.
Also, Jeff, when did these pilots, with the back and forth, if you watch the whole movie, when did these pilots deny it? When did these pilots say aluminum, barium? What are you talking about, you crazy bitch? When did that come out of their mouth? All they did was go, yeah, I know. Well, that's not our department. Yeah, I get it, but that's not our department. Well, what's not your department? Spraying metal over everybody's fucking head? That's not your department? You would expect, and maybe 15 years ago, they might have said this, but now, because of probably the way they're signed up, they can't talk about it. So they're just like, talk to the boss, talk to the boss, talk to the boss. Where's the denial? Why wouldn't they go, what are you talking about? Aluminum, spraying aluminum? They didn't act surprised. They knew exactly what the hell she was talking about. I mean, it's
Sean, Jeff, hold the thought a second. I want to just kind of change one thing here so that we, to address something you brought up, Sean, which was that the government is a bunch of liars. Okay. Which I think that is a universal truth. You don't have to convince pretty much anybody of that. However, I mentioned at the beginning, the congressional hearings, playing God with the weather, a disastrous forecast. And I wanted to play a little clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene about that, just as a document thing that can be used by you potentially. So I recommend you watch it. Just take a look at a second. And then I want to get your comments on this section here.
Humans have been trying to control the weather for centuries. Modern attempts at weather control don't appeal to divinity. Instead, they use technology to put chemicals in the sky. Cloud seeding, for instance, uses silver or lead iodide to try to increase rainfall in a specific location. Today's advocates of geoengineering don't just want to address droughts or improve conditions for agriculture. They want to control the Earth's climate to address the fake climate change hoax and head off global warming. What methods do they use? One is to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Another method they want to use is to block the rays of the sun from hitting the Earth. Blocking the sun would have unknown consequences that no scientific climate model could ever reliably predict. The federal government has a long history of experimenting with weather modification. A serious campaign to commercialize geoengineering to fight global warming would be a vastly larger enterprise.
What are your thoughts on that comment? Now, I will say I edited the video. It's not as good of editing as your movie, but I edited that just to shorten it up. What are your thoughts on what she said?
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, weather modification. I mean, I get it. It's one of these things where now people like her are going to be bringing it up, and all these other politicians. And in my opinion, I don't know much about this lady. So, I mean, I guess I technically...
She was on the Q side of things. Remember, you brought that up earlier. And then she dumped Q and said, I realized...
That I respect that a lot.
That's why I'm saying it. Yeah.
You leave a stupid theory.
She dumped Q.
That Trump's going to save us all. Yeah.
She dumped Q. I don't even know the details of Q. We don't have to get into it. But she dumped Q, and she has been... various people have said that I can't find anything to attack her with. So the reason I brought that up, and I'm glad to hear what you said, I do find her to be interesting and an example of a person who can look at evidence and change her thinking.
I probably would have sat down with her if I knew who she was when I was starting this film. I probably would have reached out to this lady.
Yeah, this just happened in September. I only have, it's 2 hours long of hearing. Apparently the Democrat who was there also had interesting things to say. One of the people that testified was this young guy. His name is Chris Martz. He is a meteorologist, and I'm interested to know, I don't think that you had a meteorologist in the movie. I could be wrong.
Ariana Masters is one without a professional career in it, but it's something she studied for a long time. It's one of those things where you could be the best lawyer without a law degree.
Okay, that's Jeff. By the way, that's Jeff. He is the best lawyer without a law degree.
I'm a fake lawyer, as I say.
Well, that's my point with Ariana. She technically would be a meteorologist in the sense of the knowledge. Yeah.
Now the reason I bring this guy up is because you say you would talk to people. This is a guy I would recommend talking to. He in his article here that I'm featuring on the screen, I mean, he goes through the mathematical calculations of so much of this stuff. But he does say that there is also a difference. And so he would be somebody who might disagree with aspects of what you're saying and agree with other aspects, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene realized Q was bullshit and then said, what you just saw her saying now. So this is a person who also commented to Tucker Carlson and the other guy that he interviewed, I forget his name, and said that he does not think that there is science behind the chemtrails, but he's a scientist. And I just wonder if that's somebody that you would ever talk to try to convince or to rethink.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. In terms of people that are promoting bullshit, in my opinion.
But he attacks in that article, he attacks the government for many different things.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
Including weaponizing aspects of weather. So,
well, there is somebody in Sean's film that went to one of these city council meetings to talk about blocking the sun.
Justin Hart.
We've been at this for a long time. Why don't we show that clip and then kiss
Call
each
it
other
a night.
good night?
Yeah.
All right.
Get a pizza and beer.
I don't really think you need to take it there. You can simply point to these article headlines that I've brought here today, and they start with, is it time to consider dimming the sun? Harvard's Solar Geoengineering Research Program. Forbes article, Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. Fox News, the Biden admin was considering blocking the sun to prevent climate change. CBS News, controversial spraying method aims to curb global warming. And last but not least, the CIA director, former, said, a personal program that has gained my attention is one of stratospheric aerosol injections, which is a fancy term for the chemtrail word. You can no longer call something a conspiracy theory, I don't believe, when Harvard, Bill Gates, the White House admin, former, and a CIA director are all calling for these programs to start.
And this guy was saying he was scared to speak at first, and it was good to include him in the film to kind of inspire just the ordinary people to.
Because we have the power to stop this, and there's a reason. Again, with this ban and it's bullshit because they're still spraying Florida and Tennessee, and they're pissed. But at the same time, it's in the law. I mean, it's 4,000 feet. So, but the point though is that people have the power. It's just the fact that the awareness of people especially since 2020, for obvious reasons, but since 2020, the awareness of chemtrails and geoengineering and weather manipulation is at an all-time high, including mainstream people like Kennedy, like Tucker, all these people now, right? They're talking about this type of stuff. It's normalizing it in a sense too, but it's also raising awareness. And I think that if you take a look at it this way, if just say all 50 states banned it, all 50 states said no more geoengineering. Of course, it's 4,000 feet, so stupid. But imagine if all 50 states did it, which looks like we're on the verge of that. Now we can really focus on the federal government and go, okay.
Well, that would be how it's
you
done.
guys doing
It would be
and
done.
That's why I get pissed off, Ryan, because when someone like Kennedy tweets that 9 months ago, someone like me is excited. When 9 months go by and not jack shit has happened, fuck you. Because
it's a tease. It's a tease. Well,
No,
that's
even
typical
teasing.
of the Trump administration. They've teased us in various ways.
Yes, but it's not even a tease necessarily for me. What it is a slap in the face. What they're doing is saying, hey, people that have been screaming this for 10 years, you're not loony. You're not loony anymore. Too many people know. So you're not loony anymore. And actually vote for us because we're going to put a stop to this. We're going to even tweet a picture of chemtrails. We're on your side, conspiracy people that are telling the truth and just trying to help humanity. We're going to help too. And then they get in the office and do absolutely nothing. And then he's interviewed on some he's on some program. He's actually on the stage, right? I don't know what show it was, but he's on the stage for the interview. So it's like a big set. And someone in the crowd asked RFK about the geoengineering shit, the chemtrails, and he acts dumb, like he didn't even tweet that. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't even know. Well, oh yeah, I think it's DARPA's doing it or something. Hold on. So you mean to tell me that you tweet something that you're going to put a stop to this crime? He actually called it a crime, which it is. And then he gets into office. And then he acts dumb when he's asked about it. He doesn't know who's doing it. If you don't think you have the power, RFK, to look at Donnie Boy and look at the whole staff and go, hey, let's fucking every single jet that sprays that shit, we're going to follow them in the sky until they land, arrest them on site. They have the ability to do that starting today. The fact that they're not doing it means that they know what's happening. They're financially gaining from it. And God knows what else they're benefiting from letting it happen. And guess what, guys? I don't know if you know this, but social media was blowing up about chemtrails when the government shutdown started. Do you know why?
No.
Does anyone want to take a guess why? Why the virality of chemtrails, the hashtag chemtrails, when the shutdown started? Does anyone want to guess why?
I know why. Because they supposedly went away.
It was blue sky in every state for 2 straight weeks. Every single state in America didn't have any X's, didn't have any whatever you call them, persistent contrails. No,
I would like to see proof of that. I would like to see proof of that. That would be interesting to see proof of that.
Proof is I know more than 50 people, and I know people that live in every state. That's my proof.
I mean, for you, okay, for you that's good.
But you can also you can just look, man, and this is what I do, Ryan, because I'm like you. I want more proof than just people I know that are like, dude, it's been clear all week.
I mean, anecdotal evidence is always.
My point is this, though. What I usually do and what I recommend people doing just for casual proof, at least consistent casual proof, is you just go to Instagram or Twitter and you type in New Hampshire, hashtag New Hampshire, and just look at people walking outside, Ryan. Look at people videoing their family at a park. Look at people doing this over here. Look at people driving their car. Hashtag New Hampshire. They're in New Hampshire. Hashtag Chicago. There's millions of videos of hashtag Chicago. Why? Because people are walking in Chicago. Be careful. But people are walking in Chicago, and they're in Chicago, and they hashtag Chicago. They're maybe just in their backyard playing with their dog, Ryan. My point is, those 2 weeks, I was doing that consistently to see what's really happening, and nothing but blue skies, and of course, mashed potato clouds like we were used to as a child. But that's it. There was none of this shit. And now that the government shutdown is near the end, I'm seeing them all over where I live. That's all I'm saying. Now these X's are back with force. So
well, you should come to where I live. Ain't nothing but blue sky. Just to the audience, right? This is June 2025. Kennedy was in office talking about chemtrails. All right. So there you go. It's not like he stopped talking about it, but it is to what you said, Sean. He somewhere in here, they said that he's looking at DARPA or something like that.
Yeah. But here's my point, Ryan. And I hope you understand.
No, I'm not.
No,
this is just to people in the audience.
I want to leave you guys with this, at least on that. My point is, if you're in the administration that runs the country, if you have the ability, if Biden had the ability to shoot down some stupid balloon in the sky from another country, if Biden had the ability to take it down, they don't have the ability to go, let's investigate this now. And let's, like, when they say stuff like, oh, we're not sure who's doing it, then go fucking find out, man. You're in the administration that runs the country.
Well, as you know, things are mixed. Things are mixed because some things they're doing might be good, some things they're doing are not good. You know, it's mixed.
Yeah,
You've
but
got there's conflict within the administration. As
heavy metals that are in our atmosphere is nothing good about that, man. Nothing. That's all.
Or in vape pens. I hope you don't vape.
No, I don't.
I didn't think you did.
All right. If you want to see the film, it's at chemicaltrails.com. It links
Climate.
What did I say?
Chemical.
Same thing, but you know.
Oh, sorry.
No. But he said this on a podcast where using climate trails had not been used anywhere, and so that.
Yeah, you got yourself a good URL there.
Listen, guys, when I make a film, I it takes me days.
No, you're a good filmmaker.
I know that a URL is important.
Film production was engaging because I've seen a lot of conspiracy films that just bore the shit out of me. It was very engaging.
A very good film.
It was
and whether or not you buy our skepticism, it certainly is important to look further into weather modification and all the issues that are brought up in the film. I was not bored at all. It was a very interesting film. Thank you for enduring our challenging questions.
Yeah,
we've been.
I apologize again about my passion, guys. It's not.
No. It was fine.
It's never anger. It's never anger. It's never hate. It comes from love.
So one last thing, we've been flashing your X handle as well as the Climate Trails website the whole time. You also have a website called the EnlightenedNetwork.com.
That's my company.
Right, and HibblerProductions.com.
That's all of my old work, generally speaking. My mold of my older films and stuff. All the feature films, starting with Climate Trails and moving forward, is with my new team in our network, and we're not stopping. We're not stopping with Climate Trails. We got a lot of stuff to do, but I do one harmless plug, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
You can even make a harmful plug.
No. Bad choice of words.
Is this about your OnlyFans? I didn't want to bring that up.
No, that needs to be removed from society right away. But here's my thing.
I'm with you.
You guys like debates? Are you guys debate fans of debates?
Only when we're doing the debating. Only when we're doing the debating.
I mean, like the professional debaters and the moderators and good. We're starting a brand new TV show, The Enlightened Network. We're starting a show that's going to be starting January 10th in Atlantic City at ACX1 Studios. It's called Word War Debate. It's going to be produced by Sam Tripoli, if you've ever heard of him. It's going to be moderated by the great Andrew Wilson and hosted by Ben Swan. And we have a full cast. We're lining up a full cast of all-star debaters to go at it. And I'll be public with this. We just reached out to Candace Owens to debate Crowder, and we're going to continue to go after the top dogs to say, hey, put up or shut up. We have the facility now to do this. The show's starting regardless, but we're reaching out to, and it's not just debaters. I mean, if there's a big Twitter beef going on,
there's a lot. There's always.
So do I understand this to be the concept to be basically any type of interesting debate?
Pretty much for the most part. Now we are going to be traditional in the sense of, sure, we're going to look for left versus right. We're going to look for feminist versus anti-feminist. We're going to do the traditional topics, of course. But at the same time, we want to mix it up. We want an entertaining show with no scripts. You can have an entertaining TV show without scripts, and we're going to prove that. It's going to be raw debates. Well, we're going to try to, hey, let's get the best debates, the most entertaining topics, the most entertaining people to get on stage live to by the way, an audience with 3,500 seats, I think, is in the building. So it's going to be a live audience, and it's going to be broadcasted on X and Rumble and YouTube.
Oh, that sounds great. And where is this venue?
Debaters.
Where's the 3,500?
ACX1 Studios in Atlantic City. It's right on the boardwalk.
Oh, Atlantic City.
The building's beautiful. You're surrounded by the ocean. I mean, it's see-through glass walls. It's freaking beautiful. It's literally somewhere where you can have fun and enjoy debates, eat and drink and have fun. And it's right next to Caesar's Palace.
All right. Well, if you want to debate whether or not the Citizens United case was decided properly, which is to say whether or not what's spent on speech should be regulated, I volunteer myself to be the debater and or to produce experts for you to participate.
Sure, no, that's fine.
That's my obsession in life.
But guys, yeah, if you guys are interested listening in this new debate show, that's, in my opinion, going to take over the debate scene. We're the new premier debate league, gold standard of debates. Go to wordwardebate.com.
Say that again?
Word War Debate.
Word War Debate, singular?
Singular. Yeah. Wordwardebate.com.
When does it debut?
January 10th.
I've already
I had a
looked up the
pedicure
website.
appointment that day. I'll try to move it.
You sound like Larry Silverstein now. You had something to do with your the dermatologist appointment. He couldn't make it to the Trade Center that morning.
Oh, look at that. You're a pro, Ryan. Very quick.
That was quick. Thanks, Ryan. But yeah, January 10th, tickets just went on sale. And it's hard because we don't have debate cards yet. We already sold a bunch of tickets. I'm like, who? I look at it like this. If you want to go to a concert, say you and the wife want to go to a concert,
right?
Are you going to buy a ticket to a concert before you even know who's playing? So, but that's my point is this. That's the love and respect my team gets, especially Andrew Wilson, Sam Tripoli, Ben Swan. They know that we're not coming together to make this big show to have no cool debates going on.
Well, I buy that you have a good reputation, but it's also because I think people are hungry for debates. We don't have that much going.
It's time, man. It's time.
Well,
and
people want to fight about ideas too. That's the key thing. They don't. Just
I would say the only thing in popular culture that comes close. Well, actually, there's the guy on X who does these debates. I forgot his name. That Scott Ritter.
Adam.
No, that's not his name.
No.
And then Bill Maher occasionally has people disagreeing, but that's about it. I think other than that, there's nothing. So you're filling a void.
You know what I would love to do, and we might actually approach this: Alex Jones versus Pierce Morgan 2.0. I don't know if you guys remember about 15 years ago, Pierce Morgan and Alex Jones. Alex went on Pierce Morgan's show, and they got into a heated debate about the Second Amendment, and that's when Alex just went absolutely insane and started screaming.
And he's been hitting the gym, and he's been losing weight. So
you're gonna pay the debater, right?
It depends. I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, they're gonna, of course. I mean, it's
Mario Knopfel. That's the guy who runs.
Yeah.
69 hours.
I mean, look, man. Like, we've already spoken to some people. They don't want to get paid. They want to come and represent their worldview. If we cover their flight and hotel, they're happy with that. Then there's going to be some people that they're not leaving the couch for less than X amount, right? So it's both.
Chelsea
sides.
Clinton, for example, she has $40,000, I think.
But am I right? Can you guys think? Can't think of anybody other than Mario Knopfel and Bill Maher who doesn't have like structured debates per se, but he sometimes have disagreements. I don't think there's anything else going on. So people are hungry for this.
I would love a Ben Shapiro, Nick Fuentes. That's me.
Oh my God!
How about Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson?
Well, yeah, I mean
that too.
That fight too.
Yeah. Well, that's my point. It's like it sounds weird, but I'm being sincere. Like, we want to put the most entertaining debates live on stage, and that's our goal. That's our goal. Doesn't matter the topic. Doesn't matter the debaters. It could be two people from the
why
right.
Why did you pick Atlantic City out of all places? Is there a reason for that?
Well, it's just the ACX1 Studios, man. I mean, once you see it, it's you just fall in love. Like this really is this. Well, we have a connection. You know, actually, one of my business partners with the Enlight Network has this strong connection to pretty much, in a sense, ownership of that building. At least, at minimum, a golden key, right? Where we can get in there and have these events, and it's like, let's do this. And my friend Sam Tripoli and Andrew Wilson, probably the best, one of the best debaters in America today. Andrew Wilson, love him or hate him, he ain't gonna tell you he's a bad debater. But these are the pros, right? Coming in with these ideas and to have this show. And then I don't know if you guys have heard of Ben Swan, but I mean, you talk about a perfect specimen alpha male to be a host. God made Ben Swan. So, and he's going to host it. So it's kind of like it's all falling in line. God's good, and God's going to keep allowing me to move down the road to help educate the world with films and debates, because I think debates are so underrated for knowledge and education.
Yeah, if it's a real debate.
Yeah.
If it's
Of
not,
course, I agree.
If it's not cartoonish.
Yeah,
where
it can't be Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro debate because they would fall in love. It would be like that would be like porn. Actually, I think if you had the two of them,
that would hurt my ears. So no thanks.
How about Ryan Milton and I debating which one of us is sexier?
That wouldn't be something that we would be able to do for any instance. We want, and I get the joke, but we want real topics that are can literally help the viewer go, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about this topic because they just smashed it. Where we want to educate people on topics, and we're going to be fair. I mean, that's the left, the right, the middle. Come show up, and it's the same thing with all these Twitter beefs going on and people calling each other out. And there's
everybody's a Nazi. Everybody's a Nazi. Everybody's a communist.
Yeah,
fascist,
everybody's automatically.
Everybody's a fascist.
How funny would it be if the Nazis were the good guys, though? That's what I always joke about. Like, how funny would that really be?
Well, there
if
are
they
people
really
who say
lied
that.
to us about it all.
There are people who say that.
All right,
I
well,
wasn't there.
That sounds like a great project. So good luck with that. How often will it happen? Is it going to be just occasional, or you have a specific?
We're starting it. It's going to be bi-monthly. We're starting it every 2 months. So after
bi-monthly means once every 2 months or twice a month. What you say? I think you
once
just said
every
it.
2 months. I'll rephrase it. That might be my bad. We have once every 2 months to start. So every 60 days there could be a new event, new debaters, everything fresh, more marketing, more promotions to get the audience to show up and people to tune in. But I think eventually this show's going to get kind of out of hand with how successful. So we probably will move to once a month, and that's the short-term goal, in my opinion, is once a month. But this
I
thing,
fact-checked you. I fact-checked you. Bi-monthly is what you said, Sean.
Oh, good. All right, good.
Bi-weekly was what
I
Jeff
wasn't saying he was wrong. I just
No,
didn't quite
I'm
understand.
just using the terms.
All right.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do bi-monthly for now, and then again, that our goal is to make that monthly. We just, dude, you talk about grassroots. This has been beyond grassroots.
It is
right
good.
now.
To do
So
that
it's hard to accomplish something like that, but when you can,
You should have the chemtrail as one of the debates. Have somebody.
we've look, man. When you, like I said, when you reach out to people that are on the opposing side, that
Yeah,
don't
they
are
won't debate.
chemtrail, they won't show up, man. And
Yeah.
to me, that makes a difference. Like, what, dude? Just
well, that's why I gave you the guy.
Do it with an empty chair to make your point.
That's why I mentioned that guy Chris Martz, because I think he's the youngest scientist to ever testify before the Congress. He's only 22 years old, and he's a scientist.
Sure,
is the guy that I was just showing.
I know people that would destroy him. So if he
that would be important. It would be important.
Great.
It would be important to see that debate.
And that you get my point though, Ryan. Imagine having a debate with a credible scientist, at least to the public eye, and then he gets destroyed on live TV. That actually helps educate and give people knowledge on what's happening.
No doubt about it.
Debates are a great tool to get truth out there. Now everyone has different truths, I guess, but at the same time, when you wipe the floor with someone with facts and evidence, you wipe the floor with them. And guess what? We're not editing shit. This is going to be live. And on top of it being live, we have, in my opinion, which is going to be the greatest moderator in all of debate history, Andrew Wilson, that will go, Ryan, answer the question. You're not getting away from this debate. You're not running. You're not answering the question with a question. which is
John, wouldn't you say that was the spirit of our show tonight? I mean, it wasn't structured as a formal.
I love the show. Trust me, guys. I do so many echo chambers.
Mm-hmm.
That I love. Like this. I don't mean it in the sense that you're against me. I'm saying I do so many.
We have to have a real discussion, or it's pointless.
Correct. But thank you for reinventing my passion. I feel like I've been on 30 podcasts in the last month, and this is the only one where I can get passionate. So again, it's passion. It's not anger, but it's I like that about me because it's going to come out at times, and it's just who I am. I'm just an authentic person. I'll never change. I'll never bite my lip. But at the same time, I'd rather do shows like this than shows that are just like, oh my God, your film was awesome. Oh my God, this is the greatest thing. My mom watched it. Now she's waking up to this, and which is fine. I love and respect, but it's like, what are we talking about?
Couldn't agree more. It's more convincing for you or anybody who's in your shoes if you're challenged than if you're not challenged. You know?
Yeah, and that's why I announced the passion so adamantly, because it's just passion coming out, man. If you put yourself in my shoes and have known this for so long and are now seeing people kind of get it, then when there's a challenge, it's like, it's one of these things where I don't mean to be like this, but it's like, I just want to slap both of you, like, snap out of it. Look in the fucking sky. Shut up with the government said, look at the government article.
See, I know that is a challenge with that, right? And that's when Jeff and I were debating this issue before bringing you on, I think that was even before he invited you on. We were back and forth about this, and he kept pulling up EPA websites, and I kept saying, nobody's going to listen to that. And so, I did. And so I pulled up other things, and I said, look, I found things that are alternate, but actually make the point that we're trying to make. But he got all nasty and mean at me. So
no, you guys are great. You guys are great. I'd come back anytime for any topic. Trust me, if you guys feel this way about chemtrails, like, to me, that's
I will say this. Let me jump in here.
Yeah.
20 years ago, like I say, I hadn't talked about chemtrails in literally 2.5 decades. So I don't know why it came back in this period of time. I actually have no idea. I can't think of, because there are points in time when things happen and you say, well, that's what triggers this discussion, right? It's like every time we celebrate.
Well, maybe it was Sean's film. That might be one reason.
Well, no, because why did Tucker talk about it? He didn't see the film.
How do you know that?
No.
I don't know that.
It's viral on Amazon Prime.
I don't know that. I don't know that. And I saw it right. I did see it right away.
Let's assume it was Sean's film that brought it. Is what?
Maybe so.
Hey, guess what? Me and Tucker do have mutual friends in the middle, meaning like.
Yeah. Well, even if you don't have friends, Amazon Prime is a big platform, right?
Yeah.
And so is X. People were talking.
And by the way,
that's how it came to my attention. I saw somebody tweet about it on X. Yeah.
Thank you. But I reached, and by the way, just for your audience and you guys, I reached out. We tried our hardest to get RFK to talk to us for this film.
Well, see, you should have called me. You should have called me.
Oh yeah,
dude. I know people that are in his office at that moment.
And my wife worked for him.
It wasn't happening.
Years. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen when he's the head of the HHS. He's not doing anything.
I get that. No, I get that. But my point I was trying to make about pressing the topic of chemtrails. I made a lot of films that you guys probably would have a fucking field day with if you think chemtrails is a stretch.
So, yeah, I know about your other films. I know.
We had Ryan Dawson. We got into some arguments with our audience about the 9/11 stuff, and
so that could be another show. I got a lot of stuff too, but Old World Order is another big one I made regarding.
I haven't seen that one. You did one with Stu Peters.
Stu Peters. Well, that's Old World Order. Stu Peters. I made the film, and I was going in the process of funding it. Right back in the day, before my network, of course, started, I would have fundraisers to my audience, right? I got 115,000 subscribers on YouTube. Not a lot, but 115,000 people that want me to make a new film. So what I would do usually every year was go, what topic? What are we doing? Everybody throw $1 in. Everybody throw a couple bucks in so I can fly, so I can get to the hotel. Cause I didn't have a job. This was my career and I was making it my career. So I would open up the gates to not force anyone. That's the point of it. Here's a fundraiser. If you guys fill it, I'm going to make this fucking film for the world. Every year, fill. Old World Order started slow. And I think it was just because of it's just a bad time for everyone at that point. It was starting slow. And I had someone that knew Stu Peters that was looking to finance another film, right? Because usually he's the executive producer of films. And they connected me with him. And I knew of him from Died Suddenly, which I think was a great documentary. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, we introduced each other and talked for a little bit. And he's like, look, Old World Order, I'm interested. I'll fund the rest. I'll get your flights. I'll get your hotels. I'll get your rental cars. And I'll throw you some money on top of it. But I go, whoa, hold on. What the fuck is the catch here? Jeez, I've never heard. Are you God? Like, who does this? What do you mean? And he's like, well, it'll be a Stu Peters network film. Now, that was the first time in my career I had to make that choice because everything I've done has been me. And I was like, this topic is too important to sit back another 6 months, barely be able to buy food for myself, and pray that it gets funded. I was like, you know, Stu, I like you, man. You seem like a great guy. And at that time, I said, let's do it. And man, was he helpful, very nice throughout the whole process. He wanted this information out, and we put it on his network, and it blew up, and it was viral, and it was all over the place. But it's not like he shied away from my name. He let everybody know Sean Hibbeler made this. He's the genius behind this project. He likes to release films under his network. So he came and bought it from me, basically. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this is about Giants. And
it's not necessarily Giants. Giants is
that came up in some of the discussion. So yeah.
Part of it, yeah. Part of it
is the ancient architecture.
The ancient architecture specifically, and the cover up of the construction photos. Like they would doctor the construct. They didn't have Photoshop in the 1800s, but they had Victorian photography manipulation where they would do it in the dark room. I go over all this in the film. When people look at me and go,
I'll watch it, Sean.
The World Fair. Last thing, the World's Fairs is a big one because we're taught that the World's Fairs buildings were thrown up in a year or two just to take them down, right? They're just temporary materials. No, the fuck they weren't. Those were stone and marble buildings that were there for a long time.
But you're just talking about U.S., right? In the U.S.
I am generally always
the reason. Okay, yes. Okay. No, just because.
But
let's say goodnight. It's 2.5 hours. Come on.
All right, guys.
Last thing, when you look at the buildings over in Europe, and the excuse for those are like, oh no, that's 240 AD that was built. It goes over your head. You move on. When you see the same exact building in America and they chuck it up as founded in 1901, built in a year by horse and buggies. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. So go watch Old World Order as well, guys. I mean, that's
hang out after we do the credits here. We'll just take a minute afterwards. Great talking to you. Thanks to our audience, Jeff.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Ryan. Love you. Great guest. We broke the record tonight. This is our longest show ever. Good night, everybody.
That's my fault.